All right, welcome to Heretic Channel. My name is Jenova.
And I'm Gene Skinner. Welcome, everyone.
We're going to talk about some horror anthologies tonight, and we're going to talk about horror hosts.
Yeah.
But before we do any of that, I want to read a small little article from Dread Central that I found, which is from puppeteer for the new Critters show that's on Shudder, I think it is.
Yeah, it's Shudder.
It came out on March 21st. Nobody's talking about it, so you know that's a great sign. It's called Critters: A New Binge.
Maybe the reason they're not talking about it because everyone's all like, "Oh yeah, there's gonna be Stranger Things 3 soon." No one cares.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Stranger Things in July instead of October because I think It Chapter 2 comes out.
Sure it does. I'm sure Stephen King's real happy about that. He's relevant
again. Of course. And then he'll be done with this. Pet Sematary will flop. And so they'll try to do another Stephen King adaptation and he'll go off the radar again.
Yeah.
Or he'll
get another Stephen King TV show.
Oh yeah, that's right. Season 2 of Castle Rock is coming. Which I don't know anybody who watched the first season. So
yeah. Anyway, continue with the article.
Yeah, let me screen share this if I can.
All right.
It's gonna get a little crazy here.
Oh yeah, because you're capturing the window.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you close all your porn tabs.
I'll just keep those open. Everybody can see what I'm into. All right, here we go. Can you see that?
Yep, I see it.
All right. So this is by Josh Milliken, whatever his fucking name is. He writes for Dread Central. It says, we're still trying to confirm the rumors that in addition to the series Critters: A New Binge coming to Shudder this month, there's a feature film based on the classic B-movie horror property in the works as well at Sci-Fi. So you know it's going to be good if it's at Sci-Fi.
Oh, God.
One component of this puzzle are recent comments a new binge master puppeteer Glenn Williams, that's his name, made in the Facebook fan group Critters Rehatched. So there is a Facebook fan group called Critters Rehatched.
Okay.
While his primary purpose was blasting so-called Critters fans who have panned the series based solely on the recent trailer, he does seem to confirm that there are indeed two separate entities, a show and a film. Read his comments for yourself below. Okay, so here he is crying and whining.
Of course he is.
I don't think I want to stick around here anymore at Critters Rehatched. I was the master puppeteer on the new Critters: A New Binge. I take offense to everybody who's saying
what a woman.
Yep, just because this is what they've seen on the trailer that it's trash. Well, that's a lot of BS, mister. There's a lot of people who put a lot of time and effort and a company that put a lot of money into this effort to make Critters come back. First of all, it's nice that you put some time and effort into things. It's nice that you had some money backing you, but that doesn't mean that what you produce is good.
No.
Just because you put effort into something.
I mean, let's talk about In Search of Darkness. A lot of people put a lot of money into that.
That's looking like it's going to be a fucking terrible thing. It would have been more appreciative of people that had supported that Critters is back and wait to see the film series. The film series.
If you're going to whine about it so much, I'll say this. I will watch whatever you make, and I will judge it on my own merits because I do like Critters, so take that as how you will. Not everyone's going to agree with that, though, and this is the internet. People just blast shit if they see a trailer.
I'm waiting for the pirated version to come out so I can watch it. But Critters, based on the trailer that I saw, like I said, the puppets, they looked very good, but everything else around it looked very bad. And I mean, you can make the argument.
I guess I'll ask this since I haven't seen the trailer yet myself. Do they have the whole thing with the aliens that hunt the Critters still?
Yeah, apparently that's why they come back to Earth. They come back to Earth for some kind of mission. And they show up it like flying a spaceship.
Yeah, so it's like the same thing where their faces are all like, they morph into normal looking people and shit.
Yes, they have. Yes, there is that there. But I also noticed that the critters act a lot like gremlins now.
I mean, they kind of did beforehand too.
Well, they show them like smoking,
like cigars,
they show them like smoking cigarettes, and there's one critter that has like an eye patch. I don't know if he's the captain or not or whatever. It doesn't, like I said, the puppets look great. The special effects don't look that bad. They don't necessarily look as good as they did in the old 80s 90s version of it, but they don't look that bad. They're not CGI, at least. There was some CGI in there, but it wasn't on any critters.
Was it like the alien ship was CGI?
I think the alien ship is CGI, but then also there's a scene where they show you that that somebody's wearing somebody else's face, and there's kind of like a glitch there. You can tell that's CGI.
Yeah.
Let's see, where have I left off? After you've seen the series, then of course, if you think it's too cheesy or too fun, say so if you want. Oh, too fun. I like that one. It's too fun for me. I don't like it.
I don't like fun. Fun needs to die.
With no storyline, but if just critters eating people is what you were hoping for, then say no. But this guy has terrible grammar. I don't know what he's doing. He was in such a fucking rage.
I am so mad people don't like my puppets.
But this Critters, it will be different. It's 2019. It's not the 1980s.
Current year.
It's the current year, not 1980s, okay? No, we're not the brothers. And of course, we respect their work and what we had to come from. But now the shoe is on our foot, and we did everything we could to bring it to you the best we could, which wasn't good enough, apparently. You just have to admit it's just not good enough. It wasn't a multi-million-dollar Disney film, but there definitely was a decent budget. Doesn't mean anything. And the builds were made professionally, not in someone's basement. Somebody must have said it looks like it was made in somebody's basement.
Somebody made this in your basement, didn't you? You made these puppets in your fucking basement.
So I take big offense. He's offended. For all the workers and the people who created the new critters for you. No, you didn't create them for us. You created them for a paycheck. Yeah. That's why you did it. Enough with this. We made this for the fans. Nobody makes anything for the fans. They make it for themselves. They make it for a paycheck, and the fans come last. That's why people make things.
Yeah.
It's harsh, but it's real.
It's harsh, but it's true.
If it was just for the fans, they would be putting it out for free, and you could just watch it anywhere. But that's not how it is.
No, nobody does that. Like, no one does that.
Nobody does that. That's a stupid business model.
Yeah.
Guys, to say they look like what you said, let me tell you, they're fantastic. I held them. I operated them. I work them. Okay, so what? Who gives a shit?
I am the artist, and you are the dreamer. Let me show you my world.
He sounds like such a little bitch.
He sounds like Willy Wonka after he talks about the snozberries and then loses his shit.
Ours is a story, and there might be little cheeky moments in there for you to have a laugh or two. Why not? Believe me, the critters are still krites. Not to mention, there are some people in here that worked on the film as well as the director, and your negative comments aren't fair to the director who put years into making this happen for everyone. So shame on you. Shame on you. Make your judgment after you see the film. Don't be a hater. Give us a chance.
Don't be a hater. What is this talk? What is this?
And here's the synopsis. Pursued by intergalactic bounty hunters, the critters return to Earth on a secret mission and encounter Christopher, a lovelorn high schooler, his best friend Charlie, his crush Dana, and his mom Veronica, whose past will come back to bite them. Who will survive and who will?
Is his mom hot? That's all I care about.
I don't know. Maybe she might be. Looks like Dana is Asian.
Yeah, look at the diversity casting here. You got fat kid, you got Asian, you got black kid, you got another ginger.
And then this guy who might be a woman.
What is that?
I don't know. This looks
Is that
like
is that wait? Is that supposed to be the guy that's the original alien from the first film?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I gathered from the trailer.
Mom Sarah Palin. All right, yeah, all right.
Yeah. And here's the critter with the eye patch.
What the fuck?
Uh,
It's like it's a half eye patch. Looks like he's got a fucking cyst on his eye or some shit.
yeah, I think this is the string that goes around the head right here.
Yeah, it looks so weird. That's a weird looking eye
Yeah.
patch from space.
But it is out. It
I
came
like
out
that. Wait,
March
wait, wait.
21st.
I just noticed the eye patch critter also looks older than the other critters. Maybe he's supposed to be one of the original critters.
He might be. They didn't really tell you too much from the film or from the trailer. But it is out and nobody's talking about it.
Good sign.
So it's always a good sign. You know, you'd rather have no comments than negative comments.
Fuck you, haters.
But that is, I just wanted to share that bitching with everybody. I thought it was important to know that the guy from Critters is not having a good. He's not having a good month.
And I have something unrelated to the topic to mention
Okay,
as well.
Go ahead.
Mark Hamill will be voicing Chucky.
Oh,
what reason?
yay.
No, I don't understand why Brad Dourif isn't just voicing Chucky for whatever reason, but they're rebooting Chucky apparently, and fucking Mark Hamill's going to be voicing him. There's also supposed to be a Chucky TV series based on the original film's timeline, so hopefully, maybe the reason is because Brad Dourif will be doing that instead. That possibly that's why they didn't have him again. I have no idea.
That could be. Maybe because it's a reboot, they're trying to do everything new.
Yeah. So is Mark Hamill gonna go in the fucking store and try to say fucking French?
No, it's not. I don't think it has anything to do with a serial killer.
Okay, so it's just gonna be a possessed doll.
It's a smart doll gone weird. It's almost like Small Soldiers.
Oh, that's a great film by Joe Dante.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like Small Soldiers, where the tech that they use goes haywire.
Or he gets possessed by a demon.
It could be that, too. I don't think they really show you.
I'm going to laugh if the demon looks like the fucking Joker.
I would fucking... Just because Mark Hamill voiced the Joker.
Yes. And it's a mix between the Joker and Trickster at the same time.
Oh, that would be so terrible.
It would be.
That would be so sad. I mean, I'm already kind of... I think Aubrey Plaza is playing the mom, and I think she's a terrible casting choice to play the mom.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Aubrey Plaza when she's utilized correctly, like in Parks and Rec, where she's just a bitch.
Yeah.
But most of the time, she's not cast in roles that I would cast her in. I don't see her playing the mom very well.
No.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll definitely see it just so I can make fun of it if it's bad.
It will be bad.
That's why
maybe it's going to be on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, I hope Asylum does it. They're so bad.
Ugh.
How can they make a whole TV series out of that? I don't know. How can the Chucky series still be going? It's people like praise the Cult of Chucky or whatever it was called, the latest one, and it was so bad.
The only thing I like about it is Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif's the best part of it. I don't know why.
Wait, who? I forget. You'll have to remind me. Who's the chick that plays his wife, girlfriend, whatever?
Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah. She has a very unique voice. I can just say that much. She sounds almost like Harley Quinn on helium.
I always remember her from Liar Liar.
Yeah, that's right. She was in that.
107 pounds. Yeah, in your bra. But Cult of Chucky I didn't like. I don't think Dave Mancini is very good at what he does, I guess. But
I mean, I think Child's Play really ended for me at fucking the one when they're the couple thing and the Bride of Chucky, and that's probably it.
Remember Seed of Chucky?
Yeah, I know Seed of Chucky. You don't have to remind me.
How bad that was.
Our little boy is actually a girl. Oh, God.
How do these dolls have reproductive parts?
I don't want to know.
When they get possessed, do they have...
Like workable sex
do
organs.
they get workable sex organs? I mean, there is a sex scene with them in Bride or Seed, one of them.
Yeah, it's in Bride, I believe.
Uh,
Which is just really funny to me because I just think of how much older Brad Dourif was.
Yeah, and I think Jennifer Tilly plays herself in one of those movies too.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she plays herself at a certain point as well, where I think it's actually in Bride of Chucky. Besides her playing the.
Yeah, she plays Jennifer Tilly, and she plays
the doll. Yeah, she played.
the
The doll
lady who is Brad Dourif's chick.
Yeah,
she fucks Redman in that movie.
Yeah, I believe so. The thing I remember too is the fact that that's in Seed of Chucky she plays herself because she's playing the pregnant woman as well that gets impregnated, I think.
Right.
Or something that they were gonna use for some whatever fucking reason. I don't remember. I don't remember the point. Maybe it was so they could give Chucky a new body or some fucking shit through a baby, so it could basically give them all bodies. I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really been a Child's Play fan myself.
No, I just like Brad Dourif. That's the only reason I'd watch it.
Yeah, well, it's because Brad Dourif's great and everything.
Yeah, that's why I like.
He's an actually good actor.
Yeah, he's a really good actor and a pretty cool dude. I'd love to just buy him a beer or some shit.
It's a shame he's not going to be in Search of Darkness.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in Search of Darkness. I'm wondering why he isn't.
They probably couldn't get him. I think they got Jennifer Tilly, though.
They may have.
She's got a fantastic pair of tits on her.
She does, yeah, so that's fine. She's better than someone else.
Who we'll talk about later.
Yeah, fucking.
So that was a little bit of horror news for you guys before we got into anthologies.
And horror hosts.
And
there's a reason why I decided to pick that topic. So a little late, though.
So speaking of anthologies, I think we're going to start with the one that I watched actually today.
Yeah, go ahead.
Called American Nightmares, which stars, I mean, I guess you could say it stars him. It's got Danny Trejo in it.
Is Danny Trejo really a lead actor besides like anything of Machete? Because I have never seen him be a lead actor in anything.
Yeah, I don't think he really is a lead actor. He's more of a character actor, but his character is always himself. Yeah. Even though he's a classically trained Juilliard actor.
Yeah, he brings that up to people.
But he always just plays Danny Trejo.
Yeah, I don't.
But so American Nightmare is made by the same guys who directed and wrote Tales from the Hood and Tales from the Hood 2. Mm-hmm. So I knew the minute I saw it, I was in for a treat.
Treat in quotations.
Right. And we start with two hackers, a white guy and a black guy, and they're hacking into people's webcams to videotape them, mainly doing sexually explicit activities. A lot of the cameras look like cam girls. And their whole scam and operation is that they record you doing sexual activities and then they blackmail you for money.
Okay.
But while they're doing this, their cameras get hacked by Danny Trejo, Mr. Malevolent, who's sitting there at a table with a voodoo priestess.
Okay. Is this just like a thrown away scene someone got from fucking Dusk Till Dawn or some shit?
I have no fucking clue. Danny Trejo is dressed like a voodoo priest himself. He's got like the top hat on and he's got a cane. He looks like he robbed a pimp from the 1800s. So I'm actually going to skip some of the stories because there were a couple of them that I really wanted to talk about. And some of them, the stories are very, there's like 5 or 6 of them and the movie's only an hour and a half. And that doesn't even include the wraparound story with the hackers and everything like that. So each story is...
I figure I'll ask this since I didn't think about to write this exact second. You'll have to give me a bit of break chat because I am a little bit on edge by not having enough sleep. But what I was just thinking was, so does it set to a like specific time period? Is it supposed to be like the early 90s, early 2000s?
Oh, this is like modern day.
Okay. I just want to be sure with the quote unquote hacking, what kind of hacking we're getting here.
Yeah, it's modern day, or at least as modern day as it gets. It came out last year, 2018, I think. I think the same year they put out Tales from the Hood 2, it came out.
All right. just wanted to be sure. I wanted to know what kind of hacking we were in for.
And I don't know why they didn't just put this under the Tales, make like Tales from the Hood 3. But they kind of started a brand new anthology series with this called American Nightmare, and the Danny Trejo is called Mr. Malevolent.
Yeah, like
that's
you said,
his whole thing. It's the same. It's the same setup. The person telling the stories is obviously there to torture these people before they die with stories of bad people, and then at the end, the hackers basically die from. I don't know how they die, but
they just die.
There's a monster that's there that just randomly appears at the end. And it cuts the one guy's head off and then eats the other guy. It's got like a vagina mouth.
Vagina mouth. What the fuck?
But so like the first story, which I'm gonna skip, is just about a woman who was in an abusive relationship, and then
Stephen King wrote it. Gotcha. Okay.
Right. She's in an abusive relationship. She's a black woman in an abusive relationship.
Imagine my shock.
Right. She gets out of it. And then she goes on this date, this blind date with a guy. And he's perfect. And they have sex. And he's got something he wants to tell her. And she goes, "Oh my God, you're married." And he goes, "No." And just as he's about to tell her, he freezes and blue lights come out of his mouth because he's a robot.
What the?
And her ex-boyfriend, who's abusive, shows up and goes, "Ha ha, bitch, I got you. I signed you up for this free trial for sex robots, and I fucking got you." And she's like, "Oh my God." And he's sitting there and she's like, "You actually had sex with that thing, you stupid bitch." And he's like, "Your weave's on too tight." And he starts hitting her and smacking her around. And then he runs to the bedroom to get the robot. And while he's doing that, she's struggling to find her credit card, because the reason the robot froze was because the free trial was over. So she's running to get her credit card to sign up. $5,000, by the way.
Oh, wow.
$5,000 for this robot per month.
Well, that's fucked. I would not pay $5,000 for a robot.
What about a sex robot?
Well, look, one payment, and it's for life.
I mean, yeah, I could see that too. But I guess
like, what kind of cheap ass robot am I getting? I got to get the full model. It all depends.
No, she got the full model already. she got the full model. So then she finally gets her credit card number in. The robot comes to life and protects her, and he kills the abusive boyfriend. That's
most importantly, he wreck.
Yes, exactly. So then she's just got this perfect robot boyfriend after that.
Perfect. It's a fucking robot. You can't ever take it swimming with you.
So then the second story is where we get 3 stories in a row that have to do with white people.
Oh, okay. Of course.
So the next story, it stars Jay Moore, if anybody remembers Jay Moore, stand-up comedian, who has gone like really lefty in recent years.
Okay.
So this to introduce all these stories, the voodoo priestess, she makes an object appear, and the object that appears here is a gavel. And Danny Trejo explains that there's nothing scarier than the United States justice system. So what we do is we come across Jay Moore, who's a prosecutor, who puts a black man in jail because this guy killed his family, shot them all, shot his 2 kids and his wife. And now Jay Moore is running for governor of Texas. And a woman comes up to him and she says, "Look, we put the wrong guy in jail. I saw the guy on television that they arrested him for something else." And he goes, "Too fucking bad." And then,
yeah, this is definitely a movie made by a black guy.
Right. And then that night, the black guy he put in jail, whose name is Floyd something.
Featherline, I got you. All right.
He is supposed to be he's supposed to be executed that night. Well, while Jay Moore is at the dinner table with his 2 kids and his wife, he gets a call from his assistant, who is a black man, telling him that Floyd has escaped from jail.
Okay.
And the lights go out, and next thing you know, Floyd is in Jay Moore's house, and they both have guns, and they're shooting at each other.
Nothing is scarier than the American justice system. Like the Second Amendment, that's really scary.
And I didn't skip anything.
Okay.
Because they're trying to fit as many stories as they can. They sacrifice actual storytelling and build up.
And they just have this random bullshit.
Right, and they just have this random bullshit, and they're jumping. Like, everything goes really fast. So then what happens is the lights come back on, and Jay Moore has killed his family. And the black guy was never there. And the cops show up, and his assistant shows up, and he's like, "You called me earlier, and you told me Floyd had escaped." And he goes, "I never called you. Floyd was executed a half hour ago." And now Jay Moore is being arrested, and he ends up being executed. They show him being executed at the end of this story.
Goes on the other foot now, white man.
Exactly. You like the justice system now, white man? Even though there really isn't, some woman says that she saw somebody else. So obviously her eyewitness report isn't credible.
No.
And if Floyd did somehow show up to shoot at Jay Moore in his house and get him to kill his kids, he's still guilty there. He is guilty of something.
Yeah.
He either killed his family or he got Jay Moore to kill his family. One of the two things. So the story really doesn't convey the message they wanted to convey, especially because they seemed like they were crunched for time and they wanted to fit as much moral fagging in there as they could. Now, that's just the beginning.
That's the beginning.
Because the next story I'm about to tell you is called, I can't remember what it's called. I just call it White Fork because that's the name of the town. And I'll tell you about it. So the next object that gets revealed that appears on the table in front of Danny Trejo is a Confederate flag. And it's he calls it this flag of treason. I would call it a flag of the Democrats, but that's just me.
I mean, it really was.
I mean, can you really say it wasn't? So this story, you start with some delivery men pulling up to a house. They're in Texas.
Yeah.
Again, you start up with some people pulling up to a house. Some delivery men pulling up to the house. They're two black men and a Polynesian. And this is important because it's not important, but I say this because they go to the guy's house and the guy opens the door and he's a redneck. And he goes, "Oh, what's up, Chinaman? What do you got? Something for me?" I mean, he is such a stereotypical racist redneck that, you know, the type that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah,
but the type correct. That you think every white person really is, especially
that whitey over there knows nothing about my culture.
And the guy goes, "All right, Chinaman," and he goes, "I'm actually Polynesian," and he goes, "Chinese, Japanese, Polynese. Y'all should be on your knees, thanking God we let you in the white man country." And the Polynesian, I do. So we get.
I mean, Zach might, but that's just.
They're unloading a giant box, and while they're unloading it, the Polynesian guy, he looks at the redneck and he goes, "Hey, aren't you that guy?" And he goes, "You damn right I am." And they cut to a flashback of this racist dressed as a cop beating the shit out of a black man.
Okay.
And just, I mean, Rodney Kinging this dude, just smashing him up. And he goes, "And that nigga deserved every lick he got. And he did something wrong." And he's yelling at all these guys unloading his stuff. This giant box. We don't know what it is yet, but he's unloading this giant box. And they're like, "Yeah, whatever, white guy." And he goes, aren't y'all going to bring that in? Aren't you supposed to bring it in? And they're like, whatever. And they just dump it over and get in their truck and leave and make him bring it in. So he brings it in the house. He unravels it. And as he's unraveling it, it's this big contraption, this giant weird machine where it just looks like they took a bunch of PVC piping and a bunch of different types of, like they went to Home Depot and built it. Right? And his wife shows up and she goes, you know, I think I should go stay with my grandma. You know, I'm tired of all this race mixing that's happening in this country. I think I'm going to go stay with my grandma. And he goes, don't worry, honey. By the end of the night, we'll be in a different dimension where there ain't no niggers. So
who the fuck would say that?
I don't. Black people think that this is how Southern white people are.
Yeah.
So it's racist in its own right. You know what I mean? It's that quote unquote reverse racism.
We can't be racist because you're a racist, white man.
So he's got 2 daughters. He's got a baby who isn't even a year old, a couple months old, and he's got another daughter. And he goes, all right. He goes. He says, honey, if I didn't think this wasn't going to work, I wouldn't have sold all my guns and I wouldn't have sold all he names off all this white people shit, right? All this stereotypical Southern white people shit.
Did he sell off his plantation?
He sold his autographed picture of Ted Nugent. That's one thing that he sold. He sold his autographed picture of Ted Nugent. He sold all his NASCAR plates. And he sold all his guns. Those are the things that he sold.
But Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, I'll be fine.
Dale Earnhardt. So he goes, all right, we're about to go to the different dimension now. And he's got his
I think
teenage daughter.
I think I already know where this is going. He's not going to end up in the right dimension.
Okay, yeah, you'll see. It's fucking stupid.
Just keep going.
Okay, so he's got his wife, he's got his teenage daughter, and the wife is holding the couple-month-year-old baby. And he hits the dimension thing, and boom, they're in this other dimension. And it looks like an old dusty Texas town, whatever. It's one of those places that's off in the middle of nowhere, and it's called White Fork. Which, if anybody knows about how, you know, putting the fork in the black people's heads, and if it's stuck, they were black because their hair was nappy, and even white people got accused of being black people and stuff like that. It's an old thing that happened in Africa, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's at White Fork, and they're at White Fork, and goes, you see that, honey? Look at that right there. And he's reading the sign. It's got that welcome to White Fork, big welcome to White Fork sign. And it says, no blacks ever. And he goes, we made it, baby. We're in paradise. This is where we want to be. So they roll up to this gas station that's like right outside of town. It's like, it's weird because you don't see any houses or anything anywhere.
Yeah, that's weird. Keep going.
Right.
I'm listening, but I'm just laughing at it because I think something's going to happen already.
As they walk up, they're greeted by this gas station attendant. And he says, hey, folks, welcome to White Fork. And he goes, and the racist redneck's like, oh, yeah, it's great to be here, man. We're so happy to be here. He goes, and as the gas station attendant, he looks and he sees the teenage daughter, and he sees the mom, and he sees the baby, and he goes, blacks. He starts screaming, blacks. There's blacks here. Blacks. And he's just screaming blacks. Well, as that happens, these 3 sheriffs, they come out and they start walking towards the group, the family. And the white guy, he doesn't know that they're walking towards him. And he goes, look at these people. They take their Second Amendment rights seriously. You're about to see a good old lynching, baby. And they can't see the blacks. Well, what happens is the sheriffs walk up and they have these fancy laser smart guns, you know? And they point it at the daughter and the wife, and they shoot them.
Oof.
And it doesn't do anything to their outsides, right? They say, well, we've got these fancy guns. It doesn't do anything to their outsides, but it just messes up their insides. Oof. And that's when he goes, they weren't black. And the gas station attendant looks at me and goes, black as in the color of your skin black? No. Black hair. We don't like black hair.
Oh, that's so stupid.
And they look over, and one of the sheriffs is a black guy with blonde hair. And they go, I'm about to just wait till you hear the end of this fucking thing, what they do. They get to, they're talking to him about it, and they're like, well, you were commiserating with blacks, and usually we would throw you in jail. And he goes, but they're not black, they're sweet angels. And they go, oh, the baby, you slept with a black hair? Look at your baby. And he goes, you can't shoot my baby. She's special. She's an angel. And they go, well, you're right. Our guns don't work when they're that little. So we'll have to do it the old fashioned way.
Oh, God.
So they take the baby from him and they smash it against a pole. That's what they do. They just repeatedly smash this white baby against a pole over and over and over. And they're killing it in front of him. And at the end, he ends up in jail.
That's fucking retarded.
It was, I was laughing, but then I was also disgusted at the same time. Because I was like, this is the old-fashioned way that we just smash it against a pole.
Nobody kills fucking babies most of the time.
Because it's got black hair. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be something on race. Obviously, it's a commentary. The whole fucking movie is a commentary.
Hey, white people, you know nothing. That's the commentary.
How would you feel if you got black hair? And I've got black hair, so I was like, White Fork sounds like a terrible place to be. But it reminds me of an old video that I watched one time. It was made for kids, and they showed us it in school, and it was about prejudice. And it was like, well, what if we said we don't like people with blue eyes or green eyes, you know? And the whole video, they're kind of being mean to this one kid that has green eyes because they all have brown eyes.
All right.
Why would we go? Zach says, why would we go anywhere when we can just send them away? I agree 100%. Get the fuck rid of them. So the next story I want to talk about is the story after this. It's called Hate Radio. And it's obviously about Republican conservative radio talk show hosts. And they don't.
Oh, Alex Jones. Okay.
Well, I thought they were going to give us an Alex Jones. The guy, the way he kind of talks is very hyperbolic like Alex Jones is, but the way he looks is not Alex Jones. And what we do is we meet up with this guy who...
was it Ghost? Is that what they're trying to portray?
Well, he's on a nationally syndicated radio show. And he's... It's very much like Limbaugh or, you know, one of those type of guys. And like the first things you hear him say is, all right, you crypto lesbian feminazis. And he's doing that hyperbolic thing where he's talking about how women don't know their place anymore. And that's the fucking problem. Nothing he said was wrong. I just want to point that out. Nothing he said was wrong at all. He goes into this speech about how well, we didn't have psychos like Ted Bundy in the 50s because women knew their fucking place, you know, and they didn't drive men crazy. And now women want to make rape mean anything where you get a hard on within 50 yards of an X chromosome, shit like that. He is great, Rock. He is fucking amazing. So somebody calls in and so what we learn from this call in from this guy named Felix is that he says, you know, maybe Ted Bundy was doing us a favor by teaching these women, you know, their place and how they should be. And what we learn is that there is a serial killer on the loose called the Chopper. And he is abducting women, and he is killing them, obviously, because he's a serial killer. And we only mention Ted Bundy because Ted Bundy raped and killed a bunch of women. We don't mention Jeffrey Dahmer, who raped and killed a bunch of men, or John Wayne Gacy, who raped and killed a bunch of boys, or the Zodiac Killer, who shot couples, or the same thing from Son of Sam. We don't want to mention the men who've been killed by serial killers, or the Atlanta child killer, who was a black man who killed black children. We don't want to talk about any of that. We just want to bring up Ted Bundy because we've got a narrative to push.
Yeah.
So what happens is this guy ends his show, who his producer is a woman, and she's agreeing with everything he says, by the way, but you don't really hear from her. So what we do is the radio host, he thanks Felix for his call, and he goes, "That's why we like your calls, Felix. They give a brand new perspective." So the guy goes home, and he's in his house, and he's got some mail, and he opens it up, and I should mention that he pours himself a drink, right? And then he salutes a picture of Donald Trump that is sitting on his next to all his liquor. And he's taking a drink, and he goes, "Hey there, Donald." And he points to him and gives him the gunshot, like, "Yeah, thank God you're in office," kind of thing. It's so bad.
I mean, I would salute too, but that's just patriotic of me. I know.
Yeah, but the way they do it, the way it's implied is that, of course, these people like Donald Trump because Donald Trump is a pussy grabbing bigot. So he gets this picture, which is of himself dressed as a woman, but I thought it was a picture of himself like as a fag, like he was hiding the fact that he was a transgender or something like that. But it's not. It's supposed to be some kind of haunted picture. And he's showering and doing all this stuff. And next thing you know, he gets a headache. And he puts a towel over his head, and after he pulls the towel off, he's got this woman's hair, blonde woman's hair, real long and feathered and everything.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden he's got tits. He's growing these massive tits, and he's stumbling out of his bathroom, and his dick falls off.
What the fuck?
And he's in this woman's robe. And he stumbles and he stumbles into his driveway, and he collapses, and he transforms. He goes from a guy who's obviously wearing fake tits and hair and stuff like that to an actual woman. They got a woman actress to do this who has a massive rack on her. And while he's passed out there, this car drives by, and the guy goes, "Oh my God, are you okay? What are you doing out here?" Well, she's passed out.
Yeah.
So he can't do anything. So he picks up this guy who's a woman now. This is our radio host. And he wakes up, and he's chained up in this guy's basement.
Oh, God.
Because this guy is the chopper. He's the serial killer.
Of course.
And he still has, even though he looks like a woman, he still has his radio voice. He still has a man's voice. And he goes, "I know who you are. You're Felix. You call the show all the time. You do all this stuff." And he goes, "Don't try to say that's your show. That's not your show. His name's Hugh Bluff. That's his name."
Oh, that's his name?
Yeah, that's his name. That's it's America is Awesome with your host, Hugh Bluff, whatever the name of the show is. So then eventually it ends again. Everything goes by real fast.
Yeah, because more stories for less plot.
Right, and eventually Chopper, he's picking up some saws, and he's showing it to him, and he's like, "You want this?" And he goes, "No, I don't want any. I don't want that. That's not good." And he goes, "Oh, you know what I'll do?" And he takes a blowtorch, and he lights a blowtorch, and then he just fucking torches the dude's face, and that's where that story ends. And those are the three stories that they smashed in the middle of everything. Because then after that, there's a story about a black pastor who's like a pop-off where he has like phony healing and shit like that. And some guy's daughter dies, and he turns him into a real healer where, like, the healer actually takes the affliction from you and has the affliction themselves. And then, like, this guy dies. And then I think there's one. Oh, and then the very last story I wanted to mention, because it's a ripoff of a John Carpenter story from Masters of Horror. And it's about a woman coming out of an abortion clinic. And this van pulls up and this lady's like, hey, have you seen my kid? I can't find my kid. And she's hysterical. And while she's there, some men grab her and throw her in the back of the van. And they're basically kidnapping her from an abortion clinic because she's pregnant. And they're like these zealots that don't believe in abortion.
It's bad.
And right, abortion is bad. And they've got her tied up and they're like, don't you know you have a life inside of you? And she goes, I was raped, as if as if all the women getting abortions are raped. It's a fucking, and she goes, you don't know what he did to me. You don't know
what it's like.
You don't know what it did to me. And the minute she said, you don't know what it did to me, I knew where this story was going. So
was the baby a clown?
It's funny. There is a clown story in this. It's Chris Kattan plays a clown who murders women with a knife penis. And then at the end of it, like a ghost helps this escort escape and they rip off the knife penis and they shove it up his ass.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad I'm never gonna watch any of these movies. I'm just putting that out there.
I will watch them for everybody.
Yeah.
So people don't have to worry about it. I will watch them and I will relay them to everybody. Because they are as bad as, like, IMDb has American Nightmare at a 4.2, but it's definitely a 2.5 or a 3.
So they're being generous is what you're telling me.
Oh, they're definitely being generous. They definitely went in there and added some of their own reviews, I would imagine. Okay, so this last story about abortion, they keep that lady there for like 9 months or something like that, and they're force feeding her and everything, and she's pregnant. And she tries to escape, but she can't escape. And then she goes to have the baby, and the baby is a demon because she got raped by the devil. And the baby.
Why would you say it? Why did you say the devil? No one would say it. They call it the devil.
Well, that's what she assumes. It's a demon. She doesn't know what it was or whatever. But she pops this horned baby out of her cooch. It goes flying. It hits the wall, and it's just sitting there in front of the 3 kidnappers. The baby jumps down, and it grows to be a giant black man with horns and hooked feet.
Oh, so Samuel Jackson. Okay.
And it says, "You're all gonna have my baby."
You're all gonna have my baby now.
2 of the guys are men, and one of the guy goes, "Sorry, Holmes, but I'm a fucking man. I can't have your baby." And the baby and the demon's like, "We'll let God decide that." And then ass rapes him. Which in season 2, the reason this is a ripoff is because in season 2 of Masters of Horror, there is a John Carpenter episode where it's basically the same thing. A woman goes to an abortion clinic to have an abortion because she was raped by the devil. And her father and her brother go there to basically shoot up the abortion clinic and get her out of there.
Of course, John Carpenter, always the subtle master of horror and not very
always. They didn't notice the horns in the womb. When she's getting her abortion, she has like no stomach. And I don't know if it's even if they could even see it when it's in the womb. There is, when she's about to have her baby, they do they go into the womb and they do a womb shot and they show the baby there, and then you see the horns for the first time. But when you first meet her, it's obvious that she couldn't even. I mean, I don't know what the term, I think you have to wait a certain couple of weeks before you can actually have an abortion. Mm-hmm. I don't know, because I'm not into that kind of fucking degeneracy.
No.
But I'm not sure.
I'd watch the Satan baby come out. I'd let it go to school. I'd let the Satan baby live its entire life. Maybe it could be a doctor. You don't know. The Satan baby.
So that is, and then
so
and then American Nightmares basically ends with one of the hackers getting eaten and another guy getting his head cut off, and that's American Nightmares from the people who brought you Tales from the Hood 1 and 2.
Those people.
So that is the anthology that I was watching when you brought up to me earlier we should do anthologies.
Well, thank you for alleviating that evil from us.
I
mean,
thought
to us
everybody
all.
should know about the greatness that is American Nightmares. And
Here's looking at you, Donnie T.
I laughed so hard. There are so many parts where I was just laughing at how ridiculous it all was.
Uh-huh.
There's morning after pill, an abortion pill, then the abortion if you're a cunt and want to have your baby ripped out. Oh, yeah, that's right. There is the morning after pill.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just an egg at that point, so it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could have seen the horns. I don't know. Maybe we're thinking too much into this fucking terrible movie.
I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm just here sitting and waiting.
Anything from Rusty Cundiff, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
It
and
sure
Darren
does sound like
Scott.
something else.
Yeah, anything from those two guys, I'm all in.
So wait, here's the thing: are either of these men black?
Oh, both of them are. Yeah.
Okay. Were they raised by white people?
They definitely look light skinned, I think.
Okay.
And I think they have some. I think they do some acting in some of their other stuff. I think Darren Scott plays the teacher in one of the stories from Tales from the Hood, the first one.
Yeah.
So, but what about your anthologies? Are they as good as mine?
What was I thinking of? Something I know about, but I haven't fully watched yet, and I can't remember the fucking name of it. God. Well, all I can think of when we're talking about anthologies to mention my own, I really do, even though he's in it and is the horror host for it, I do like Body Bags a lot.
Yeah, Body Bags isn't bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I like the first story a lot.
Yeah, the first one's really good. The one I would say that's another one that's actually pretty underrated, and it has fucking very famous actor in it who is like a British actor, but he was like down in his luck at that point, or maybe he was paying off a fucking parole violation. It's the Necronomicon, which is the Brian Yunts and Stuart Gordon anthology with H.P. Lovecraft played by Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, I think I saw that once when I was younger.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that is a good one. And all the stories are based around the Necronomicon, aren't they?
They're based around Lovecraft stories, yes.
Yeah, Stuart Gordon really does like to do the Lovecraft stuff. He is like one of the #1 directors for Lovecraft.
Yeah. The thing with him, though, is that most of the time he does not follow the books closely at all and kind of just goes for the over-the-top gore factor or spook factor or sexy factor. He puts like sex scenes in like stories that didn't have sex scenes at all. Right. Lovecraft would fucking lose his shit if he ever saw it. He's like, what the fuck is this? This man has not read my work. That's
filmmaking for you. They always got to add the sex.
Yeah, but Lovecraft would hate that. He'd say, why are you fucking a deep one? What is wrong with you? Don't you know what they really are? Don't you understand my point?
Don't you know about the Jews?
My wife was one.
I know all about them. I got to live with one. And a nigger cat.
But yeah, there's another one I can think of I liked a lot was Tales from the Dark Side, the anthology as well.
I like Tales from the Dark Side. I think my favorite story in Tales from the Dark Side is the Mummy one. With Christian Slater and Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
and that's I think I remember being real fucking freaked out about, learning about how they pulled the brain out of the nose and shit like that.
Oh yeah, that was good. I like the fact that Steve Buscemi is supposed to be like a fucking college student.
Yeah, he's very young.
And that one, yes, he is young, but he still doesn't pull it off. He still looks old.
Yeah, especially compared to like Christian Slater.
Mm-hmm.
Who's very, very young in that. There's some other stories in that. That's the one with the gargoyle.
The guy who marries the gargoyle woman, and then then she rips his guts out, and then leaves with her gargoyle children. And I think the funniest thing about that was the fact that that this dude is like the whitest white guy you've ever seen in your life, and the chick didn't look nothing like that.
Yeah, she's definitely mixed.
Uh-huh.
But she's a gargoyle, and he finds out his kids are gargoyles too,
Because he tells her he can't stop thinking about her. I told you not to tell anyone.
You promised you wouldn't tell anyone.
I mean, he told you. What's the point? It's you.
He told the gargoyle himself.
Yeah, herself.
Or herself.
It was a female gargoyle. Yeah, it was female regardless. That's the thing. It's just that's what they look like regardless of their genders, because they even the fucking like one of the childs are like not daughters. One's a boy and one's a girl, and they don't look different. They look the same.
Right. And then
I'd say the Twilight Zone movie is actually a good anthology too. Besides a certain somebody who fucking got people murdered in it because John Landis is a piece of shit.
Yes, and then his only consequence was not being able to be friends with Steven Spielberg anymore.
Oh no, I can't be friends with Steve anymore. He doesn't like me after murdering people.
No real consequences for John Landis after
murdering a character actor and children.
He obviously broke some obvious rules or safety guidelines, allegedly. I mean, it's in the court case. I mean, if you look it up on Wikipedia, it all says it. He
tried to really blame the fucking the stunt helicopter driver.
Yeah, like that guy doesn't have enough fucking guilt on his plate.
Yeah, the guy who actually
it's your fucking fault because you suck at stuff. Are you kidding me? You're in charge of the whole fucking set.
When the helicopter driver was saying to Mr. Landis, "I need to land this thing," he kept saying, "Higher, higher."
And I like the reimagining. It's not a reimagining. They redo Terror at 30,000 feet or whatever it's called with John Lithgow, who's always fantastic.
Yep. And they also have the Kick the Can, which was done by Joe Dante.
Yes, they do the Kick the Can one, and they even do the boy that terrorizes his family one as well.
Yeah, that they do.
Have you seen any of like the new anthologies like VHS?
Yeah, I've seen VHS 1 and 2. They're all right.
Yeah, I think they even have a third one called Viral.
They might. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Which isn't really that good. The only story I remember from Viral is the kids that are skateboarding and they're in like some
somebody once told me though.
They're somewhere, and while they're skateboarding, some cult comes out of the sewers.
You know, as they do.
Yeah, and sacrifices them.
That's pretty metal, man.
That's one of the only stories I think it's 2. 2 actually has 2 has a story in it that's, I think it's Japanese, because we were talking about Asian horror on our last stream.
Yeah.
It's about, that one is about a cult too, and these people go to see the cult, and it's like right when they're doing their suicide pact.
Yeah.
It's very Nurai, Roy, The Curse, or whatever that movie's called.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Another one I can think of that's a more modern one that I think is just a neat concept in general is the ABCs of Death. Yes,
ABCs of Death is really good.
Like, isn't every one directed by a different person?
Everyone's directed by somebody else, yes. And they have like 26 of them because they go through the alphabet. They have there's 2 of them.
Yep.
There's a second one. And they even they posted ones that they didn't accept.
I like
or that didn't make it to the film, and even those ones are good.
The one I remember, at least for when it was playing, as I remember Zygist. I remember from the first one or the second one, where it's the pregnant woman that's like stupidly long pregnant.
Yes.
And she's got the husband and everything else.
Yeah.
And then she eats him or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, they have that one. I think ABCs of Death even has a short in it that's reminiscent of House, the Japanese horror.
Yeah.
It's all about farting.
Yeah.
And girls farting and getting stuck in farts.
Yeah, I remember the whole thing is that though she basically gives birth to the child or whatever, and the child ends up being like her again but pregnant.
Yeah. They have some weird ones in there.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
But ABCs of Death is kind of a cool filmmaking feat. So many directors, so many different stories, and there's a lot to like, even if there's a lot you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them could be you know, a lot of them could have been feature films. I think ABC's, or not ABC's, VHS had a feature film, not Splice. Because
I'm not sure.
VHS has the one where the guys take the girls home to fuck them.
Yeah.
And one of them is a vampire.
Yeah, she's like a split face vampire, right?
Yeah, yeah. And they made a feature film for that as well.
Did they? I don't know if I've seen it or not.
I
don't remember.
One of the other modern ones that I like a lot is Trick or Treat.
Yeah, Trick or Treat's a good one.
Trick or Treat is really good. I like how they talk about the rules of Halloween. And if you don't follow the rules, Sam comes and gets you.
Yeah, and
Sam is really great. You know, you don't put a pumpkin out before the night's over. You have to give, if you give Sam a treat, he's obligated to pass your house by. You won't get harmed or anything. I think my favorite story is the story of the principal, and he kills kids or whatever, and he's sitting on the steps talking to that fat kid while the kid is eating his candy, and like he's put razor blades in it.
Yeah.
So he kills that kid, and then he goes in, and he's got his own little kid, but his little kid knows about what's going on.
Yeah.
And like they carve jack-o'-lanterns out of the heads of their victims and stuff like that.
I'm just it said according to bloodydisgusting.com, here are 10 anthologies that have fallen through the cracks for a worst seeing. Nightmares, 1983.
I've never seen that.
I've never heard of it. Tales of Tales, 2015.
Tales of Tales?
Tale of Tales, excuse me.
That's a terrible name for a movie. Succubus, not vampire. Siren. Thank you, Rock. That's the name of the one from VHS.
That is. You got Dead of Night from 1945.
I've never heard of that either.
Yeah, it's a horror anthology, apparently.
Oh, these are ones that fall through the cracks, so.
Yeah, you got The Dark Tapes in 2017.
I've never heard of that.
Me either. Body Bags, I know that one. Campfire Tales, 1997.
I've seen that. It's got a good sex scene in it. One of the stories has like one of the stories is like a Bigfoot story. So
yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. That way it said Campfire Tales, right?
Yeah.
Forbia. I don't know what that was in 2008.
Forbia?
Forbia. Forbia.
Never heard of that.
Then you got Wait, oh no, I think I know what it's supposed to be. Unless it's
Phobia. It's supposed to be Phobia.
Yeah, the other one's called Phobia too.
Are those Asian?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I feel like I've heard of them. I've never seen them though.
More items. This was it. This was last year they made this horror anthology thing for bloodydisgusting.com.
Of course, nerds. They're just as bad as Dread Central over
Dead
there.
of Night. The Dark Tapes looks pretty good. Body Bags. Campfire Tales. Forbia is a Thai horror film.
Okay, yeah.
They got Dead Time Stories in here.
Dead Time Stories, I remember that.
And look, my film I mentioned, Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, is on this list.
You made it.
I made it. They know my name. It's actually the image of the article is actually Jeffrey Combs pulling that guy's face back that happens in the film.
Well, at least they got that one on there.
Yeah.
I had my own list that I put together.
Okay, go ahead.
Trilogy of Terror.
Oh yeah.
Which has the most famous story, which is about those little tikis. That and what's her name? Karen Black is in every story.
Yeah.
And then I think they did a Trilogy of Terror 2. And I think Karen Black actually comes back and she's in all 3 stories again. And they even bring back the tiki monsters. Or I don't know if they're monsters, but it's a little tiki that kills people. Trilogy of Terror. Tales from the Crypt, the original one, which we watched. We watched that and Body Bags on your stream.
We did. We also watched the Dr. Terror's House of Horror.
And really Horror Express too, right?
Yes, we did.
Then I got The House That Dripped Blood, which is an old one as well.
We watched that too as well.
Right, which it's called The House That Dripped Blood, but there isn't a single drop of blood in the whole thing. Then Stephen King's Cat's Eye,
That's a good one.
which has a little Drew Barrymore who's her cat saves her from a little troll gnome.
Mm-hmm.
Southbound, which is another modern one, which is
that's a good one actually. I didn't think of Southbound.
Zuni dolls. You're right, Rock. Rock knows a lot about this shit. Then there is let's see, Southbound was all right for what it was. It's like everybody's on that road and they're kind of haunted.
Take me home, country roads.
Let's see, Creepshow 1, 2, and 3. We've talked about those before.
Creepshow 3 is garbage.
Creepshow 3 is so bad. Holy shit, man. That has got to be one of the worst movies ever made. And then one that came out recently called Ghost Stories, which has the guy who he's in some of those Simon Pegg movies. He plays Arthur in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And that's not a bad one. That's about a skeptic at
so Esau, okay.
Right. It's about Esau, and he goes to meet his idol, who's an old skeptic. And this guy, he goes to meet
AIU, okay.
He goes to meet AIU, and Devin Tracy is really old now, and Devin Tracy is now a believer. And he says,
oh yeah, I remember this when we talked about this one before.
Yeah, and he says, here are three cases that I could not debunk, which prove that stuff is real.
Yeah, and I remember the twist ending of that too.
Right, it's a terrible twist.
Yep.
And everybody praised it for the twist, and I'm like, I've seen this twist 1,000 times. And if you know anything about horror, is that if something is like a dream, if it ends that it's a dream, or if it ends that it's not real,
it means it's garbage.
It's garbage. It's a ripoff to the fans who went there to see this. They do that in High Tension.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bad. It's a ripoff. And then there's a movie called XX, or I think it's supposed to be Kiss Kiss.
Oh yeah, that one. I know what that one is. That was made by all female directors.
All females, and one of the directors admits in the interview she doesn't even like horror movies.
And why the fuck did you make a horror film?
Because women need to be in horror.
I know you
and
don't.
It's actually a girl. Her name is Saint something, because she's a Lady Gaga type singer, pop star.
Okay.
I can't remember her name. Saint something is her name.
Saint Germain?
That might be her name. I can't remember. But she is the one who admits that she's not even a horror fan.
Fuck off then.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. And then there's Holidays, which is also a modern day one. And
that's a good one. I know about that one.
It has a short from Kevin Smith in it. And everything revolves around one of the holidays, you know.
Was it Kevin Smith crying about something? Was he crying during the 4th of July? Was he crying during St. Patrick's Day?
He was crying during May 4th. Return of the 6th. Whatever those Star Wars holidays are, he just cries the whole time.
Oh, Life Day, yeah.
Yeah. But Holidays does have some good stories in it. The Valentine's Day one is kind of creepy, with the girl who falls in love with her teacher.
I mean, but nothing beats My Bloody Valentine. Let's see.
No, nothing beats that. No, that's the best Valentine's Day. Not the remake, but the original is really good and fucking freaky. And then I have a show on here.
Oh,
okay. Now, most of the time, think of horror anthology as movies, but there is a show that is really fucking terrible, full of political narrative, and it is a different story every season, and that is American Horror Story.
Yep.
And it is considered an anthology type show, and the characters are
We based our stuff on Kubrick. Kubrick knew what was up. Oh, he's so good at horror, that Kubrick.
Tired of hearing about Kubrick.
He's dead. Just let the man rest.
He made one horror movie.
Yeah, that's it.
The Shining.
He didn't even like it that much. He told Stephen King, go fuck yourself. I'm making the movie based on what I want.
Yeah, and then Stephen King made his own version of it, and it was awful.
Yep.
American Shit Story. You're right, Rock. It is American Shit Story. And the newest season, I watch every season that comes out so I can laugh at it because they're fucking awful. And they just get worse. My favorite season is season 2. It's really not that bad. And there isn't too much politics to it. But at the end, there's like a musical number where they sing the name game, you know?
Yeah.
And Stephen King loved that. Stephen King praised it. He was like, the musical number in American Horror Story is so good. I was like, that's the worst part of the whole season.
Of course, Stephen loved that.
But season 2 has like demons and angels and the devil and aliens and serial killers. And Anne Frank shows up.
She's the true monster in the whole scene. I mean,
she's the true monster.
Oh no, she's gonna write a book.
But what do you think? What do you think? Like the quintessential sort of like some of the better, like if you're gonna watch an anthology horror and you've never seen one before, which ones do you think people should be watching?
Just fucking watch Twilight Zone or Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah, I would definitely say especially Tales from the Crypt, the first story with the Santa Claus. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I mean, I'm at the television show too.
Well, they redo that. Story.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they do. They do redo that story. But I remember one of the biggest things, at least I really like, is the first episode of Tales of the Crypt, where it's the guy that's who brags about being an executioner, and then he starts doing it.
I Am Death, or My Name
I Am
is Death with William Sadler.
Yep, he plays a great character. I love his whole performance in the entire thing, and then him losing it and freaking out. Hey, the governor's gonna call for me. He's gonna call.
I think is that the first episode?
Yeah, that is
Tales
the
from the
first.
Crypt.
Yep,
Yeah,
that is the first episode.
Yeah, I think that's the first.
And that's how you start strong with an anthology series.
And William Sadler is he's in Demon Knight, the Tales from the Crypt movie, and Demon Knight.
He's the good guy in that one.
Yeah, with Billy Zane, and he plays the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted.
Yep, he does.
And I think they said he's coming back to play the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted 3.
Yeah,
so
I
Zach
think Tiana
should
was
be
able
excited
to give
about that.
Yeah.
Zach, you should be excited about that.
Yeah.
Even though that movie's gonna suck, and you know it.
I mean, he's gonna be in it, so
he's got to say it's good. It's in his contract. I would definitely say Tales from the Crypt. I would definitely say Trick or Treat. Let's see what Warp said. The people I know that watch that TV show don't watch horror movies, so I know it's shit without even. You're 100% right, Warped. Everybody that I know that doesn't like horror movies in general, they know I like horror, and they always recommend American Horror Story to me.
And these are the people that don't watch horror.
And American Horror Story is the antithesis of horror. It has nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah.
Horror is almost like a second thought, or they don't even, and that's because I think his name is Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy is one of the most overrated writers for a television show. He did Nip Tuck.
Yeah, he did.
Which had a serial killer aspect to it. And
wasn't it because all those people are just really vain and they don't give a shit about life?
Right, and the serial killer has no dick.
Yeah.
In that, and the thing is, by the time the serial killer got revealed, I had already figured it out, but I didn't give a shit by the time they had revealed it. So Ryan Murphy is so fucking bad, very overrated. I think he also wrote American Crime Story.
Of course he did.
Which is just fucking awful. And I know a new season of American Crime Story came out about Versace, something to do with the killing of something Versace or whatever. It's terrible. You could have done like Ted Bundy instead, which would have been a way better thing to write about. I mean, the guy escapes twice from fucking custody. But yeah, anything with Ryan Murphy writing. And the thing about American Horror Story is it's always their last season, and then they always have to do more.
Yep.
And because they've got an agenda to push, they've got a narrative to push, and it's one of those shows that captivates like edgy goth girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's who watches that show.
Yeah,
you're right. It's heavy-handed. William Sadler. Zach said William Sadler could play the back half of a 2-person horse costume and kill it. It is just fag propaganda. There's so much fucking. The closest thing they ever actually got to, I thought, of them being self-aware was the season before this last season, where Donald Trump wins the presidency, and they show all the liberals freaking the fuck out. And like thinking they're all gonna die, and like they have children, and they're scaring the shit out of their kids because they're talking about the end of the world is coming because Donald Trump is president now. But eventually, that just turns into gays fucking. You're so right. It's just fag propaganda. Everything is just lesbians or gays having sex or trans people.
Yes. I mean, I really just said anymore.
No, I mean, listen, I take the hit for everybody. But you guys don't have to watch this shit. I will watch it just to keep up with, all the liberal horror.
Yeah,
it's very bad. It does not equate to Tales from the Crypt,
no.
as a show. I remember Tales from the Crypt would come on, whether it was HBO or eventually it made it to Fox. And when that music kicks in, it's perfect. Like, you're getting set up for something scary. You're going to get some fun puns from the Crypt Keeper, who's a really great horror host, which is the other topic we're talking about today.
It is the other topic we are talking about today. So as we talk about horror hosts, it's a very big span. You got people like the Crypt Keeper, which the essential. Then you got people like Joe Bob Briggs, the man who loves the films.
Yes, who's probably the best horror host.
I'd say he is one of the best horror hosts, but there are other people that play parts in certain things that I think are better horror hosts. Like John Tarkley, which was a TV horror radio poster in LA. He was one of the pioneers for horror hosts in general in the 50s. He's the guy who basically kind of played like a Dracula ghoulish character.
Mm-hmm.
There you got like you have before somebody else that is only known for their tits. There was Vampira as well, which was way before, which is the same chick who did the Ed Wood movies, but she was a horror host of TV shows as well in the 50s. Right. And that was the inspiration for Elvira.
And then you have Son of Ghoul.
Yeah, you got Son of Ghoul.
Son of Ghoul, who was really big. I don't know if he's from around my area or not, but he was very big in this area. A lot of people really liked him. He came on after Big Chuck and Little John. Do you know Big Chuck and Little John?
Yeah, I think I do. Everything's a blur with me right now. On fumes.
And then I think now you have Sven Gulli.
Mm-hmm. You do have Sven Gulli.
Yeah, he's doing it now. And they all kind of have the same gimmick.
Yeah.
They've all got the top hat and the long black hair.
Oh,
the makeup. And but I mean, did you want to talk about Elvira and her tits?
I want to talk about how she decided, since she's quote unquote the essential person in the 1980s as a horror host, I'm gonna be pissed because I see all these people that they could have gotten instead. Wait, is Al Grandpa Lewis still alive? I don't think he actually is. From the Monsters. No, he's not alive. Damn it. Because I would love Al Grandpa Lewis because he was on the fucking that shit as well. They could get Robert Englund for fuck's sake too. He was Freddy Krueger in Freddy's Nightmares.
That's true. That's very true. He is
like anybody. I mean, they have these other people too. There's this chick called Misty Brew. She's not showing up in an actual thing, but I imagine she's better than Elvira. They could have gotten the guys from Mystery Science Theater 3000 because apparently they're on this list too for some reason.
That's good. I mean, they should be on there.
Why is Gilbert Godfrey on a horror list? What is this?
Was he a horror host at some point?
Apparently, in the 90s.
Really?
Sandra Bernard.
I'm trying to think of what he hosted.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah, but like anything, Mr. Low. Yeah, there's so many people. You could have gotten anybody.
I think Gilbert Gottfried is in the new Critters show.
Oh, is
I think. I can't remember. He's in something.
well, I mean, they did get Joe Bob, so I'll give that to him. But I like just anybody else, like anybody else but fucking Elvira. I
mean, you
not
could have got fucking Sven Gulli, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried hosted USA's Up All Night. Okay.
Okay. I mean, Ned the Dead's on this list. Like a lot of people. Cremation Mortem. I just don't.
Anybody but Elvira.
Yeah, because I don't need to hear her, saying everything. It didn't even sound political, which is why I was like, okay, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. And I go to her fucking Twitter and scroll down, and it's like, oh, well, I'm sure glad that Schiff got elected to office. Well, thanks, Elvira. Thanks.
She grew up in a red state, didn't she?
Grew up in Kansas.
Grew up in Kansas, moved to Hollywood. Probably doesn't actually live in Hollywood.
No.
Probably lives in the outskirts where all the failed rappers and B-movie list actors live because they can't afford to actually live in Hollywood anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she's really just known for tits, right?
Her tits and ass, yeah. That's about it. They'd use the tits more anyways and all the
they
stuff.
They are. I mean, Rock's, I mean, you're right, Rock. They are a great pair of tits. But if that's all you're bringing, I'm not sure if, I mean, is she
Jennifer
really
Tilly for horror host? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a rocking pair of tits.
Yeah,
I mean, if those are the qualifications, then if having a great pair of tits is a qualification to be a female horror host, then there are a lot more people you can get than Elvira.
Yeah, so I guess this is a quote unquote pitch idea of what we'd say. What would we want a horror host to be? Vampires have been done to death. No vampires or witches for horror hosts, for female horror hosts.
Yeah.
So what do we think, chat? I think Mummy is a good one.
I like the mummy. I like the sexy mummy idea.
A siren wouldn't be a bad choice either. Like a fucking
siren would be a good choice. A succubus.
Yeah, I mean that one's kind of obvious. I thought that's why I would avoid that. Maybe maybe go for something a little different, like the Djinn too. Spirit kind of thing.
What about like a Bride of Frankenstein type deal?
That wouldn't be bad either.
Sexy Shoggoth.
Sexy Shocketh.
Rock. That's what Rock says.
He wants a fucking Lovecraft.
No room for brains after all the silicone injections.
Yeah, that's
Didn't
true.
you say that Elvira has a terrible scarred body?
Yeah, she does. She has like 3rd-degree burns over most of her body because it's she ended up as a child pouring like fucking hot water all over herself. So most of her like upper body is like apparently really badly burnt besides her tits.
Is that what makes her qualified to be a horror host?
I guess.
Because of the horror that is her body?
I guess.
She did pose for Playboy.
Yeah.
But I think you said you can only see her tits and ass.
Yeah.
And that she's wearing something that's got to cover up the scars. She burned herself while making a sandwich.
Yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, there just needs to be let's say better female horror host than Elvira. I don't want her to be the only one because Vampire was a really good one. But I think it's the thing, like that's just how it's remembered now. There's other ones in comic books, like you got Vampira and all that other Vampirella, me, and all this other. But like I said, I want to do something different than just vampires because they've been done to death. An outfit like Vampirella's would be nice. Fucking like sling bikini they had in the 60s.
But not a vampire.
But not a vampire, no.
I mean, I think you could do a sexy mummy costume.
Yeah, sexy mummy costume would be good. A siren where it'd be like more creepy mermaid fish woman, something like that.
Oh, mermaid's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but make it more like, kind of creepy in the same sense as well. Or it's like you got like really creepy eye makeup and all this other shit and be interesting. Like almost Creature of the Black Lagoonish, but with tits.
Hey, Hawk. No worries. Warp says no whammon hosts.
No whammon hosts? I'm sorry.
No whammon hosts.
Look.
Let the men deal with the let the men deal with the horror.
Look, They can be assistant hosts. How about that? Like you got Joe, like a Joe Bob Briggs' like character,
Rusty.
but like it could be Satan even. Satan as a fucking horror host, and he just summons monster women just cause.
Joe Bob had hot male girls.
He did have hot male girls. Yes.
Rock brings up a good have a sexy zombie, and you could have her tits fall off and other gags like that.
Yeah, I mean you could have that too.
That goes along with like the Bride of Frankenstein type idea.
Yeah, where you'd have to like they talk about her getting stitched back together.
Yeah,
we stitched this male girl from the fucking Ed Gein's closet.
Yeah, we put all the best parts together.
Yep.
Great legs, great tits, perfect ass. No head. No head. No, it's just a neck. So she can't talk. She just hands the mail and looks good. That's what we need.
Would you have like a helmet on instead to show the fact where her head is like a Dull Holland kind of thing?
Yeah, you could do something like that, or she could have like a different head every time she shows up.
That'd just be kind of hard to do though, as an actual person thing. Is the only thing I'm thinking. Like how would you have a different girl every time? But then you'd have to have the same
Frankenhooker for horror host.
Frankenhooker for horror host. Oh, that's a good one.
The guy who did Frankenhooker, he did a movie called Bad Biology. And like the woman who's in there, she narrates it, and one of the things she says is, "I was born with 7 clits." I've never seen that movie, but I remember that.
Or another one too. Another idea as well is have like a decoys, fucking male girl too, like aliens.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Aliens.
Like a species.
Yeah, species kind of thing.
Like
yeah.
Natasha Hetrich or whatever her name is.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that way you could have different women all the time, and you wouldn't realize it because it's the alien trying to fucking eat you alive. But you'd have like a survival horror like host, like it could be like a an action hero like Bruce Campbell kind of thing, where the character just does not give a fuck. He's like still trying to seduce him anyways.
Yeah, and she's just like she's trying to get him to impregnate her.
Yeah.
Give her
just
an
do it already.
Child.
No, I ran out of condoms. I'm not doing this shit.
I mean, Joe Bob Briggs is kind of close to Bruce Campbell horror host.
Yeah, someone like Joe Bob or Bruce Campbell, those kind of.
I mean,
people.
I would enjoy Bruce Campbell as a horror host himself.
Yeah, exactly.
But the horror host thing now it's sort of downgraded to YouTubers.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of YouTubers that go the horror host sort of route that dress up like Dr. Wolfula.
Yep.
Dr. Gangrene.
Yep. That he's on the list of the horror host thing, by the way, that I was looking at. That's just like the 2010s.
Which guy?
Dr. Gangrene.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He's not that good. I would say he's not good enough to be on there. Yeah,
it's just X2000s. Count Gordon Vool. Yeah, I see. And Dr. Gregory is a award-winning television horror host based on Millville, Tennessee area with actor-writer Larry Underwood. Carlos Borloff. Okay.
What is that?
I don't know. They have some like superhero ones too that are.
Well, like
Actual Truth, the Bird, and Zelda. What the fuck is this? There's so much shit. Miss Monster. Well, now I got to see this one because someone probably stole my idea way before I came up with it.
Miss Monster? Is she a YouTuber?
We couldn't find this what you're looking for either because this is an error in the URL. Okay, fine.
Or she showed too many tits.
Miss Monster. It looks
she
like
could have like 3 tits.
Okay, so it's like a woman dressed up as something that's out of Tim Burton's fantasy. That's great. I don't.
Horror whore.
The horror whore. Nigel Hornberry. Rob Zombie is a horror host. Yeah, get out of here. Penny Dreadful.
Is he a horror host?
XL is a television horror host in New England. She's portrayed by actress, writer, and comedian Danielle Wolfman.
Comedian.
Matt Kelly. Yeah, comedian. Put that in quotations.
Quote unquote, yeah.
I Mockery. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark is mentioned in the 2010s. Fuck off, Elvira. You're old.
She is old. I bet those tits are saggy as fuck.
Sure, Needless of Fierce. What the fuck? Who is this person? She's like a robot. What?
A robot?
A robot.
I mean, that wouldn't. I mean, if you're gonna do like a sci-fi sort of horror,
Dr. Wolfula is not on any of these lists, but Dr. Gangrene is.
I think Dr. Wolfula has more subscribers than Dr. Gangrene.
Lamia, Queen of the Dark. So there are more female horror hosts apparently. As things go down. Sicko Psycho / Cooper.
Oh, that's Terrace. Slade Craven.
Undead Johnny, the world of weird monster shows.
Oh
Victor
no.
Von Scary and Randall Graves. Fright
Victor.
Nights.
Oh, I know Randall Graves. Oh my God, I know that guy. I used to back when I used to host like Trash Tuesday on Twitter. I used to promote that guy's stuff for him.
You know what's really funny though? That's the name of the fucking clerk from Clerks.
Yeah.
Randall Graves was his actual name. So he's all talking about sex movies. That's what he's really doing. This job would be great if it weren't for the fucking horror hosts.
Rock's got a good idea for a horror host, he says.
Okay.
We dig up Zelda Rubinstein and raise her corpse to be horror host. Just an actual dead body, like an actual corpse that's a horror host.
Why not? I mean, you just put speakers in and just, have spooky music.
That's what they're going to do to Elvira when she passes.
Yeah.
It's going to be like...
They'll put the speakers in your tits.
It'll just be your tits talking.
Make the bouncing noises. Come on.
Queen of the Dark, is that what you said one of their names was?
No.
Isn't that just
Lamia, Queen of the Dark or some shit.
Isn't that just Elvira, Mistress of the Dark? Have some fucking give it some thought before you.
I don't know. I think they're supposed to go with the Lamia vampire thing where they're snake vampire shit. I don't know.
Labia. Queen of the Dark.
Labia. Queen of the Vagina Dente, I guess. I don't know why my mind went to that place, but it did. You're welcome, chat.
That's what we do here. We start somewhere and we go off into a tangent.
Yeah, that happens in every show.
Yep. That's how it should be, though. But yeah, so the horror hosts, they've Count Jacula.
Yeah.
Who he says yeah a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, watch.
Is he fucking Canadian?
I don't know what he is, but I don't think he's Canadian. I mean, he might be. He does a lot of stuff with the Horror Guru. Imagine calling yourself the Horror Guru, right? And it's always the same. It's always these fucking guys who have to sit in front of a bookshelf that's got all their fucking horror shit on it, all their DVDs and their dolls. So you know how much of a horror fan they are by how much they've consumed. Consume product. That's the only way you can be a real fan. And him and the Horror Guru and Count Jacula, they sit on a fucking couch together. And Count Jacula never has any sleeves. He's always he's always lost his sleeves somewhere. He's always wearing a tank top. And they sit and they talk about a movie. And when they describe the movie, it's never what it really is. Because I was watching a couple of these earlier.
Yep.
He lives in Cali and used to do art for White Wolf. Count Jacula did, Rock. Yeah, I mean, he looks like he lives in Cali with his dyed hair. I just think calling yourself the Horror Guru is fucking bad. Do you know Count Jacula, Rock? Do you subscribe to him? Are you a big fan? Are we offending you?
I'm already super offended.
You know him? Do you know him on a personal level?
Maybe he does.
Said not really. I haven't subscribed to them. I just happened upon it because Count Jacula tried to jack my girlfriend on Twitter.
And he thought for the longest time it was Count.
I thought it was Dr. Wolfula for the longest time. But I couldn't remember which one it was who tried to cuck me. Used to talk to him, haven't in years. Is he a big liberal rock? Do you know anything about that? I've seen some of his videos. Some of them are called like he discusses like politics and shit in some of his videos instead of sticking to horror. So I don't know if he's one episode I watched with him and the Horror Guru, they talk about teenage toxic masculinity. But I don't know if that's just a joke.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with anybody what they say online anymore, if they're joking or not, or what they're doing.
Well, he's a Satanist.
Oh, so Anton LaVey would approve. I see.
Yeah, he's an edgy boy Satanist.
My edgy.
Is. Yeah, don't cut yourself on that edge. Not really. He seems to want to say red-pilled shit, but he doesn't want to out himself. See, I hate people like that. Just be honest. You always need some based motherfuckers. You always need some people to. That's why I enjoy doing this show with Gene, because Gene isn't scared to say that he's a conservative.
I am a conservative. Yes.
And I used to do a podcast with a conservative who was scared to tell people that she was a conservative. And she always ended up siding with Canadian liberals.
Of course she did.
Of course. Any other horror hosts that we missed? Let's see. We talked about Svengoolie. We talked about Elvira, Labia.
We talked about the Crypt Keeper too.
Crypt Keeper. I mean, he might be the best horror host. I mean, he's a puppet, obviously, but as far as horror hosts go, him and Joe Bob are probably the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't think of like any more modern horror hosts that are as good.
And like, I can't think of any horror hosts that really did what Joe Bob did. You know, giving the drive-in totals, you know, the tits that you weren't going to get to see, and the kills and stuff like that, and the different type of kills, and not afraid to like have hot girls on, like Rusty, the male girl, and to hit on her and shit.
I forgot. Like, there's a couple male girls he had on. What was Was Rusty the one I was thinking of? That one video we watched before.
Rusty's the redhead.
Oh no, it's not her. It was the blonde that has like a southern accent. I don't remember what her name was.
Yeah, Rusty had a southern accent. She, from what I saw, she learned to use weapons in the Air Force, and she grew up in Texas with her poppy. The blonde girl, I don't know her name. But I think Rusty was I think Rusty came in later, and she was more of the main male girl, I guess you could say. Because she's in a lot of the, the commercials for the show. Mm-hmm. But I don't know the blonde girl's name. I think the blonde girl was actually kind of hot. She was hotter. But then there were other really hot girls on there. When they would do special episodes, they would have a lot of different girls on there. He lives in San Fran. Count Jacula lives in San Fran. Oh my God.
What a faggot.
Oh, that shithole.
I hear there's needles on the sidewalk.
And shit. Needles and literal shit. I think the Crypt Keeper really personifies the horror host the best, though. Just being a corpse, having his puns.
Yeah, so that's the funny thing with the Crypt Keeper. He's a fucking corpse. He's the son of a mummy, and he's also the son of like a sideshow freak with two faces. That's how I was born. My parents died, and the fucking whole town was terrified that they had a mummy having sex with a freak.
And in the third Tales from the Crypt movie, they make him a black Jamaican with dreadlocks.
They do. That's so bad. The first two are good, and then they had that.
It's that creep show curse,
Yeah, I can't do three.
First two aren't really that bad. I mean, the second Bordello of Blood gets a bad rap, but it's got some great tits in it. Mm-hmm. It's got Dennis Miller in it, who's also a conservative.
Dennis Miller.
And
Rest in peace.
I like Dennis. Is he dead? He's not dead.
He is. Yes.
Dennis Miller is not dead.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not. Look
Check
it up.
it. I will check it. He's
you
dead.
Look it up right now. I have never heard that he died. Maybe they didn't report on it because, like, they didn't for Jan Michael Vincent.
Wait, no, I'm not thinking of Dennis Miller. I was thinking.
You're thinking of Dick Miller.
No, I wasn't thinking of Dick Miller. I was thinking of who am I thinking of? Dennis Hopper.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, Dennis Miller's not dead.
Yeah, never mind.
Dennis Hopper and Dick Miller are both dead, though.
Yeah, and those were good actors, and I missed them both.
Yes, they were very good. Dick Miller, who does more than just character act in Demon Knight.
Yep,
was very good in that.
Hey, Uncle Willie.
Chucky could be a great host. Yeah, he might be. He could definitely be a good host. I mean,
Brad Dourif himself could be a good host.
Yeah, Brad Dourif. I mean, Brad Dourif as Chucky. I mean, anybody but Mark Hamill as Chucky. Because Chucky eventually he as the series went on, he got more of that Freddy Krueger sort of attitude about him.
Yeah.
Leprechaun. You think Leprechaun would be a good host? Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis might be a good host if he's in the Leprechaun.
He's got a lot of puns.
Yep.
He's got that attitude that we were just talking about, like Chucky and Freddy Krueger have.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not. You can't have somebody who doesn't talk like Michael or Jason. Hamill can only be cucky. Who else do you think would make a good horror host? You think like any of the Gremlins would be a good horror host?
The Brain Gremlin would obviously be a good.
The Brain Gremlin would be very good. Yeah. Maybe somebody from another vampire is kind of overdone, but there are some good vampire, characters that might be good. Well,
like I said, one of the earliest ones that you see besides Vampira was Vampirella, which was made in the 60s, but she was a comic horror host, and she dressed very scantily and everything else, and she did into like more recent times of comics, like, oh no, I can't show skin no more in women's.
Right, yeah, because that's bad.
Besides that being like a defining thing of the character anyways, but no one wants to remember
and then
that.
Elvira came along, and that's all she did was show skin. Hey, don't you boys want to watch these tits? I mean, horror movies? Oh, you know what? There's a movie called Terror Vision.
Oh, yeah, with Medusa.
Yes, Medusa, that's her name.
Yeah.
And definitely supposed to be like an Elvira type character because she's got tits and they like zoom in on them.
Yeah.
I would definitely. I mean, the Medusa gimmick isn't a bad idea.
Oh, it's not a bad idea either, but you have to stare away from the screen, or you have to stare at her tits instead of her face.
Yeah.
You turn to stare at those. I'm not looking up. You're not fooling me.
Unless her nipples turn into snakes, like Species.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Look, there's a lot of like tentacles coming out of nipples in Species.
Crab people.
Geiger was Giger, whatever his fucking name is.
Giger. He is.
That's not a real name.
He is Swiss, sir.
He is Swiss.
Yep.
He's Swiss or Swedish?
I believe Swiss.
Medusa gets you hard. Rock's got a point.
Nice. Let me see. H.R. Giger. Pretty sure it's Swiss, not Swiss.
Yeah, he's definitely from around that area.
Swiss. Yeah, he's Swiss. He is Swiss.
He's Swiss.
Swiss.
He is
a country founded by fucking Templars.
They would not approve of his artwork today.
No, they call him a heretic and burn him.
Yes, they would. They would cleanse him with fire. Speaking of Giger, I was watching Prometheus recently.
All right.
And that movie.
Why don't you tell us all about how Ridley Scott's lost his marbles?
That movie is about how the engineers who created us wanted to destroy us because the Jews killed Jesus.
Yep.
Because if you go into the earlier scripts, they talk about how the engineers sent an emissary to Earth 2,000 years ago, which would be Jesus, and to correct us and all our mistakes. And
we murdered him.
We killed him.
And by we mean the certain people of the chosenness.
The chosen people killed him. And the engineer said, enough is enough. We're sending black goo there to kill you. But then, of course, there was a breakout and something happened, which they never really make clear in Prometheus. Those movies get a bad rap. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed Prometheus more than I enjoyed Covenant. However, when I was watching Covenant, that movie is tainted and unwatchable now because it's got Jussie Smollett in it. And let me tell you, I don't know who decided that Jussie Smollett was an actor, because he's not a fucking actor. He is really fucking bad. And a lot of that cast can't act, but he is one of the fucking worst actors I've ever seen. He doesn't have a lot of lines, but he's an inconsequential character. He doesn't matter.
Was one of the things that, please help me, the white man is oppressing me? Is that one of the lines in the movie? Help! I'm in MAGA country and I'm being attacked.
Poured bleach on.
Help me, Michelle Obama, George Soros, please.
He spent the whole movie with a noose around his neck. I will say, however, is Prometheus worth the watch? Look, I like Prometheus. It gets a bad rap.
And Ridley Scott is still losing his mind.
Ridley Scott is losing his mind. He claims that Prometheus is not a prequel, even though it has Wayland in it, and
it's about the fucking engineers.
It takes place before all of that, and the way he describes Prometheus is exactly how you would describe a prequel. But if you're into like the sort of like deep thought sort of thing, you're not going to get any answers. There aren't a lot of that. A lot of that stuff is implied or inferred. I would if you are a fan of Alien in any way, I would say that you should see Prometheus and Alien Covenant, just because
I would recommend against both of them, because they don't have the great mind of Dan O'Bannon doing anything with them anymore.
No, and Ridley Scott has said he made a mistake letting go of the series, and now that he's got it, he's never letting it go. And he is the reason why you didn't get the Neil Blomkamp Alien 5, because he kind of he was mad at Neil Blomkamp for stomping around in his territory.
Ridley Scott, ladies and gentlemen, is what I like to call a faggot.
They wasted James Franco. They did. I personally don't like James Franco. Here's the thing. James Franco wants to be Tommy Wiseau, and Tommy Wiseau wants to be James Franco.
Can't decide. They need to merge into one.
They need to merge into one person. I personally don't like James Franco, but if you watch The Crossing or The Last Supper, you get to see a lot of James Franco, which are like the little webisodes that came out before Alien Covenant. But I would say if you're a fan of the Alien series, you should definitely watch Prometheus. It gets heady, you know, and it's actually more. Ridley Scott took it in a direction where it's more about the androids. He forgot that this was Alien and not Blade Runner, so he took it.
My replicant.
It's more about how David sort of is on a mission to create the xenomorphs.
Because he's a faggot.
And if you've seen Alien Covenant, let me tell you something stupid about this shit. If you've seen Alien Covenant, you will know that at the end, when they're fighting the xenomorph, they catch it in a mechanical claw and they tighten it down so the whole thing explodes and falls down onto the ground, right? While they're flying the ship, the lander, back up to the spaceship.
I would not recommend these movies because they are retarded.
And this is why, listen, in the commentary, Ridley Scott says when this happens, right, when the xenomorph is crushed into goo, the xenomorph then falls to Earth and reassembles.
Oh,
like it's a fucking Terminator.
What the fuck, Ridley?
When has that ever been part of the fucking canon?
It has never been part of the. What the fuck is your
It
problem?
falls to the ground and reassembles. Are you kidding me?
No.
Because faggot. That explanation works for me. You're right, weeb. I like Alien. I wasn't keen on Prometheus. Yeah, Prometheus is. I'm a huge Alien franchise fan. As much as I can consume, I really like. I like the whole thing about it. Consume, obey, sleep. I really like Alien Isolation. If anybody's playing about, we're going to talk about that on another stream and some other horror
On Thursday,
video
we're
games.
talking about horror.
Thursday
games.
or Wednesday?
Oh yeah, Wednesday. Excuse me.
I mean, if you're busy.
No, that's Bannerants on Thursday. So yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about horror games on Wednesday. That's fine.
Yeah, that's what I plan to do.
Yeah.
That's what I plan to do.
Just if you haven't played Alien Isolation, Ridley Scott said his favorite Alien Isolation is like his favorite aspect of the whole Alien thing. That's like his.
I mean, how much am I going to listen to Ridley Scott though?
Yeah, but Alien Isolation is actually good.
Well, yeah, I will say that game is good. It does capture the first tone of the first movie really well, even though it's not.
No, it's you follow Amanda Ripley.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you follow her daughter, and
why does it have to be a daughter? Why does it have to be a woman? Can it be a dude? Can it be Adam Ripley?
She's had her daughter since Aliens, you know.
All right, her daughter.
It's been established. Burke tells her about her daughter being dead and stuff like that. So Alien Isolation. So you can either look at it like Burke lies to Ellen Ripley in Aliens, or they kind of retcon it for Alien Isolation.
Yes. Why can't it be Adam Ripley?
No,
why can't
women
it be
allowed.
A dude? It's gotta be. It's always got to be the whole weak women.
Based on what I've seen from Prometheus and Alien Covenant, if you have short hair and you're in space and you're a woman, you're awesome, and Ellen Ripley is nothing special. That's basically what they've turned it into now.
All right.
Ellen was supposed to be
Eleanor Ripley. Let's say the Beatles.
Ellen Ripley, but she's played by Ellen DeGeneres. Think about that movie for a second. Just sit there. Just sit there and stew in it. Yep.
I hate my life. I'm hoping I'm being entertaining for the chat with my sleep deprivation.
You've got the gurgle. You've got the vocal fry going.
The vocal fry.
Yeah.
Oh my god, girl.
Well, we've almost hit 2 hours. We can end it soon.
No, we must continue on.
We will continue. Tits. Elvira's got a great pair of tits, but her mind is mush.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And her body is scarred. Ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
You couldn't cook properly.
As a child. Ha 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 ha. Get wrecked in childhood. Ha 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 ha.
Did we miss any horror anthologies?
I mean, there's plenty of them we probably didn't mention, like
there's a shit ton of them.
A few others.
It's been a minute since I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen a lot of horror anthologies too. The Garden of Evil is another one. It's from the same series. I had the House of Trip Blood and all the other stuff too.
Are those Amicus Productions?
Yes, they're Amicus Production films, and they're all about that. I just remember the fact that in Tales of the Crypt of the Grimsdyke one, because it's so awful what happens to Peter Cushing, and the fact that acting sad is real because that's a real picture of his wife, and she actually did die before.
Yeah, that's the one where the guy buys his land from him or something.
They're trying to basically make it buy his land from him, and they make it worthless because he kills himself.
Right. Do you think the new scary stories to tell in the dark, do you think that's going to be an anthology? It doesn't look like an anthology. It looks like they've kind of pushed all the monsters or ghosts into like one story.
Yeah. I'd have to say for kids, if you ever want to get children into anthologies, Are You Afraid of the Dark's a really good one.
Are You Afraid of the Dark has one of the scariest episodes in it. I think it's called the What Lurks Below, something like that. And like it's fucking scary, man. It's about a kid who's afraid to swim. He's afraid of the water, and there's like a demon in the water, and then like around the climax they throw some chlorine on it or something to show you what it looks like, and it is fucking terrifying. Do you know what episode I'm talking about?
I think so.
I'm gonna pull it up on screen share real quick. Let me see if I can remember the name of the episode. Do you have any episodes that you like?
I could think of the one with a clown, the one where they steal a clown's nose. And
from Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, and that clown smokes cigars.
Yeah, it's like Bozo the Clown or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. There are some bad episodes though. Let me. Okay, hold on, because you'll probably remember this when you see it, but. See this thing?
1 second. I was doing something on the side. Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Dead Man's Float is the name of this episode. It's fucking terrifying when you're a child. It's probably one of the scariest episodes.
Yeah, that was terrifying. The other one I can think of is the comic book one where the comic book character comes to life and he's trying to like make people.
Oh yeah. He's like a jester or something.
Yeah. And he's
I know what you're talking about.
This banned comic book because the comic book's haunted.
Sounds like a R.L. Stine thing.
Oh, that's a good one too, technically as well. That's good one for kids as well.
Yeah, Goosebumps was my introduction to horror. Outside of things like. Things like I watched like Halloween when I was really young and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's good. I think Gremlins is a pretty good introduction for kids.
For horror in general, but I meant more anthologies of horror.
Oh yeah, anthologies definitely. Because Are You Afraid of the Dark is
there was Tales of Crypt Keeper or something like that.
That was like a cartoon.
Yeah, a cartoony one where it was less anything else. It's not really an anthology series, but because of the episodic format of it and it doesn't really follow the same flow, I'm gonna go with Beetlejuice as well for kids.
Oh yeah, the cartoon.
Yeah.
Or
the cartoon. The cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon is pretty good. They did a good job at like bringing the Beetlejuice character over into a kid's format. He still has that attitude about him.
Yep. Except it's just not as creepy trying to marry Lydia all the time. They're just friends instead.
Yeah.
And we don't get Alec Baldwin.
Yes, of course. Oh, he's fucking terrible. I mean, Michael Keaton makes that movie.
He does, and unfortunately, Michael Keaton is unfortunately the same.
Yes. Yeah, he's a fucking
I like him, but
person.
he's the same as Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, they all. I'm telling you, most of them do it because they want a job.
Mm-hmm.
What has Alec Baldwin done? Like in most recent times, he's Donald Trump on SNL.
And he's awful. In the Elvis documentary saying Elvis was a racist bastard.
Oh, of course. So let's put this guy in the fucking documentary who's obviously just pretending to be a fan.
Yeah. He looks so strung out in that too. He looks so strung out, like he has no work. He's just crawling for someone to help him. Oh, please give me crumbs. They're not paying me as much on Saturday Night Live anymore because they don't have any money because no one's watching.
I wonder how Nicolas Cage feels about that, because he's a massive massive Elvis fan.
I think he fucking hates that movie.
Does he?
Yeah, it's called In Search of the King or something like that. It's all this
Sounds
stupid.
terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. It came out like last year, and the whole thing is they start with a black guy saying, like, Elvis was this and that, but he meant jack shit to me. No one cares. No one
So
cares.
then why are you here?
Yeah.
Why did we make this documentary? Nobody gives a shit about Elvis. Why did we make this documentary?
It's because the fact they want to push a political point of saying, oh, Elvis is the best and worst of America, because one time there was some rumor that he said, the only thing that black person's good for is shining my shoes, which isn't even fucking true. he dispelled that rumor when he was alive. He's like, no, I never said that.
I like boot blacking very much.
And he literally said that one of his biggest influences was an old Southern singer who told him, like, you could go far with how you sing because you learned from me. And he appreciated everything about every single person he ever talked about. He was not disrespectful. He was not rude. He was a nice person. And it's just they just want to attack him because Elvis,
his wife.
Yeah, who raped his wife. You're right. Obviously. Priscilla, he totally raped his wife and had a child with her because that's just how he's.
And he learned how to do the gyration move from Forrest Gump. I've seen that movie. That's a documentary. That movie.
That's a documentary
about how a retard inspired all of us.
Oh, so Andy Worski.
Taco says Scary Stories looks fucking stupid. You're not wrong, Taco.
What else I could say is that I know it's not really on the subject of horror, but if I'm going to talk about, since I talked about Elvis, there's always Bubba Hotep too. So Elvis is secretly alive, and
Bubba Hotep is a great fucking movie.
It is.
It's
Bruce really good. Praised Elvis well.
Bruce Campbell is awesome in it. There's a black guy in it who's really a white guy
because he's JFK. They put my mind in here.
It's fucking Get Out. It's fucking Get Out before
the coagulate. The procedure worked on JFK. They put bits of my brain in here with sandbags. Those Democrats didn't want me to put away the problems. Get out, Elvis, while you still can.
They painted me this color, says Rock.
They dyed my skin this color.
They dyed my skin. Warped Reflection says, my son's had all the Goosebumps books. Yeah, I mean, I had a shit ton of Goosebumps.
I have rare ones because I had the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure books, where you could choose.
I had a couple of those. I remember those.
Yeah, those were good. One was about it was really cool because I remember it really well. It's about like a kid that gets turned into a vampire, but it's not the kind of procedure thing that happens because he thinks he got all these powers and everything else. But there's like a fucking bat if you do choose the thing wrongly.
Right.
Or like his girlfriend turns into a bat or a vampire, and then
depending on the ending you pick.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you got the worst ending possible. You could go back, or you're fucked.
And I think
there's one about a zoo too, where there's supposed to be like a huge mutants. Alligator in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember? Speaking of, speaking of Goosebumps, and then They Live. There's the one where there's the lizard aliens.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And it's like a big homage to They Live. It's like,
yeah,
we see you as a leader. You are a leader, and you have to help us. When he eats it, and becomes one of them, anyways, even though he wasn't.
And then R.L. Stine, he wrote like an adult horror book recently.
Yeah, he did.
A couple of years ago. You know where he's from, don't you?
No, go ahead. He's Ohio.
He's from Ohio.
Of course he is. Well, he's got Stein in his last name, so I imagine he has a good bank account.
If you watch closely in Bubba Hotep, you can see the scars on JFK's head where he was shot in real life.
Yeah, you can. Yep.
Calling All Creeps, is that the one you're thinking of?
Yep, that is Calling All Creeps.
I think my first one was Go Eat Worms, was my first Goosebumps book.
I remember another creepy one from, since we're talking about Goosebumps now, it's because there's anthologies and everything else. Remember the fucking mask one?
Yes.
That one was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and the mask gets stuck to her face.
No, I can't take it off.
It's very claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did 3 of those.
Yeah.
At least 3 of them. And it was one of the first Goosebumps episodes.
Yeah, and that was so creepy because you saw the other masks move, and it was like creepy early CGI. It was like,
yeah, that one's really creepy. I like Monster Blood, where the dad is sort of like experimenting on things, and there's like the hamsters and shit.
Oh yeah,
and the Monster Blood like mutates people.
Yeah.
Um,
There's the one where it's the werewolf in like a swamp.
Yes, the Werewolf of Fever Swamp. There's also one where there's like a fake werewolf at a camp.
Yeah, there's that Camp Guy one or whatever it's called.
Yeah. There's Say Cheese and Die.
Oh yeah.
Shit, there's so many Goosebumps book. I mean, he used to put out like one every month.
Yep, that's because he had a weekly book service where he would give stuff for kids to reading. It was the whole thing. It was encouraging children to read.
Yeah, and I remember.
Let me check something here though. I gotta do
the Haunted Mask. That's the name.
Yep, the Haunted Mask was that one. 1 second, I gotta check something with R.L. Stein now. You know what? I gotta check. 1 second.
We already said he's from Ohio.
Well, no, not that. You know what? I'm gonna check.
Jack Black plays him in the movie.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, and the dummy one.
Oh yeah, the dummy one. I had that dummy actually. I had that dummy actually.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
What's its name?
Woody.
Woody, that's right, and it's based on like an old dummy.
Yeah, it's based on the actual like old cowboy dummies.
Which Candace Bergen, her father was one of those. Captain Howdy was his name. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah, Captain Howdy Doody.
Did you know that Candace Bergen's father, when he died, he left all his money to the doll? And Candace Bergen got nothing. And he would make her live with the doll like it was her brother and shit.
Wow.
It's fucking creepy. But
I mean,
she's a fucking stupid lefty.
You should just have the fucking, you could have the doll write out the checks for you. Yeah, the doll wrote it. I know.
That's like when like rich people leave all their money to their pets.
Yeah, that is.
Like, well, whoever takes care of that pet is obviously in charge of the fucking cash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about R.L. Stein being liberal.
Political.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I don't think he is necessarily.
I don't know if he ever has, since he writes, kids' books.
I think he's more center right.
Probably.
He
is not Asian. Looking at this picture, 2008.
Slappy, not Woody.
Oh, Slappy. Okay, yeah, it's Slappy. Columbus, Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember following him on Twitter back when I was on Twitter, and he never really got political at all.
Does he always was he talking about like books and everything?
He always just talks about his books. His website used to have so there was a section on his website that was new stories that he had written, but they were done in like the old like radio show sort of manner,
yeah.
Turn out the lights, turn them all the way out, that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like The Shadow or those,
Yeah. And you could listen to some stories
here, Orson
there.
Welles say War of the Worlds. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, you could listen to some new stories that he did in that way on his website. So he always talked about that, or he was always like retweeting fan stuff. Because I have an old like school folder that I keep a lot of like short stories that I've written, which is a Goosebumps thing. It's got the skeleton on it. I can't remember. The skeleton had a name too. I can't remember, but I keep all my short horror stories in there. That's
where he kept them, or where you kept them?
That's where I kept them.
Okay,
and
so you wrote old horror stories too.
Yeah.
There's more in common with us than I thought.
I like to write short horror. I like to do anything horror, really. I got horror music that I've made.
Is it as good as Haberman's music?
It's probably better than his music, but it's like dark. It's like dark electronic music.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like almost like that Nihilist kind of music.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
I forget what it's actually called. I knew somebody that was like did this really like almost experimental low really interesting dark music that doesn't have anything because the fucking person's a
It's got some
the person's a Satanist.
It's got some like dark drum and bass on it, and some dark electro and some ambient shit on there.
Yeah, there's ambient music with their shit, and there's also like it's like anti-music, is what they call them. Like, what the fuck is? What do you mean anti-music?
I don't do anti-music.
I know that's what this person tries to be edgy. It's just how they are.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's actually a collaboration with my buddy. We call ourselves Cannibal. I don't even think you could find, if you looked up Cannibal Music Silver Tongue, which is the name of the album that we put out, you might be able to find it, but I don't know. It's got the album's got it's red and gray with a picture of an eye on it. I don't know if you find it. It's not for everybody, but I'm proud of it.
I'm gonna sell you my mixtape, chat. Right, live on air. You're gonna
that mixtape is fire, baby. If anybody's interested, you can DM me. I'll link it to you if you can't find it. But I mean, you've got to be in the mood for that kind of music, really.
Donate to my Patreon.
Donate to my Patreon so I can make another fire mixtape, baby. But anything horror, I'm into. Whether it's writing or editing or music, or I mean, if I had the equipment, I'd be trying to make an independent horror short. You know, I've got some ideas that I think would work.
Well, you got to get Jack Burton and Ashley Williams to
Jack Burton and Ash Williams.
I love the fact that his name is actually Ashley because it's a unisex name.
Yeah,
it's really not, but people call it unisex.
Is it spelled like Ley, or does it have?
Yeah, okay. I think it is. Let me check. I gotta be sure of it.
Because maybe it's like the Leigh version of it.
Ashley Williams.
Have you seen the remake of Evil Dead?
I have not. I've heard it.
Chat, have you seen has anybody in chat seen the remake of Evil Dead? They made it about addiction now. It's by Fede Alvarez. And apparently, like, Sam Raimi helped produce it. And
actually, Jonah Wilson. Oh, fuck, he has like two women names.
Rock, you like the remake, Rock?
Actually, his fucking name is Ashley Joanne Williams.
Joanne?
That's his middle name.
What? So he's a chick?
I guess.
So is this like the reverse of the Ripley thing, where Ripley was supposed to be a man and then they changed it?
I guess. Could you imagine?
Or did they think it would be funny if like this big sort of like manly man had a girl?
It's Sam Raimi, so yeah, he probably thought it'd be funny if he had a girly name. Because everyone just calls him Ash Williams. I mean,
yeah, he's just Ash. It's Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yep. But it's Ashley Joanna Williams. Ashley
Joanna Williams?
Yeah.
Not Jonah.
No, Joanna.
What?
Yeah.
This is these revelations of they're fucking with me. No, he was supposed to die. He was supposed to die at the end of Evil Dead and be a pile of ash.
Oh.
Is that real?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, he did technically quote unquote die in the first one. Not really.
I trust Rock. Rock's got a lot of good info.
Well, he's Canadian,
yes,
so do you
You're
really want
to Rock? Oh, Rock! These revelations. First, Ashley Joanna Williams. Now, Rock is a Canadian.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Oh no, Rock! We got to save you. Come to the American side.
We got replace Andy, please. Apparently, though, Andy's not going to stay, so that's good.
Can he stay? Can he just decide to stay?
I mean, if you have a proper visa and everything, like passes,
but how long does that fucking last, really?
Yeah, you have to take a citizen's test, too, and everything else.
He can't even pass a Canadian citizenship test.
By the way, I don't hate Andy. I just like making jokes at his expense because he's Canada's Esau. I'll just say that.
That's a terrible title to have.
They act the same. They do.
They're very similar. You're right. Yes, it's shite. What shite, Warped?
Being
The
the
I think Warped is talking about
the Evil Dead remake.
the
Yeah,
Evil Dead remake. Well, I mean, it's not for everybody. I mean, it has its moments in it. It's certainly no Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2, but it's got its moments in it. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it, but I mean, the effects are they're definitely modernized.
my big gripe is that Sam Raimi was only brought in to supervise and not actually direct it.
That's what they do now. They're lucky they even consulted him to begin with.
Yep.
Because they don't even do that now. I know the guy who did Dennis Vanilla Wave. That's not his name. Dennis Vanilla Vu. He did like Arrival. He's got some really good movies, but he did the new Blade Runner 2049. And they brought in Ridley Scott to like supervise. And he said having Ridley Scott on set was the most unbearable experience of his career. He was not happy with Ridley Scott. I can just imagine Ridley Scott being on the fucking set, being a nitpicky little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right. You have to do it this way. The replicas are actually supposed to be like this. Shut up. Let the guy do it. It's not your thing anymore.
It shouldn't have been a thing to begin with fucking 30 years. Just let the film series be not a thing. Why is there a sequel? It's the most unneeded sequel I've ever seen in my fucking life. It didn't need to happen. I didn't want to go back to the world of Blade Runner 30 years later. I don't give a fuck.
Who wants to go back to Blade Runner?
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather go back to Johnny Mnemonic.
And then they argue over if Harrison Ford is a replicant.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford says no. Ridley Scott says yes.
They're both wrong. He's neither. He's a eunuch.
But that's the whole thing in Blade Runner 2049 is this Harrison Ford's kid is what's his name? Harrison Ford's kid. See, I gave up on Blade Runner 2049 after the beginning fight scene with Dave Bautista. I was so bored that I stopped watching it, and which I usually don't.
Some people were coming to me and telling me like all about the whole fucking, oh yeah, this is so good, this is so great, the sequel, you need to see it, Gene. I saw bits of it. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I do actually like Blade Runner a lot, but it's not one of my top films or anything. Like some of the people where it's their like whole life is this film. It's good. I like it. I like the neo-noir setting. I love the fact that it's set in Hong Kong where neo-noir really is a thing.
Right.
But I mean, that's technically where they filmed it. It's not really set there. It's supposed to be set in California in like 2015.
Of course, yeah.
Because that's
2015.
Yeah, that's what California looked like in 2015. Let me tell you.
The future. I think my favorite part of Blade Runner is Rutger Hauer and the interview with Brian James. I like that interview. I like when they're just saying nonsense to him, and that's part of like being a human is recognizing just nonsensical phrases that don't mean anything, and like where a replicant or an android or something will
try to figure out
try to analyze it logically. Did you know that Ridley Scott says that Terrell and Wayland are friends? So Alien and Blade Runner are in the same universe?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Why do they have to be in the same universe? Why can't they be separate?
Because I want to make a created universe, and my name is Ridley Scott.
The Ridley Scott universe. The name of his production company or whatever is called Scott Free. We wish it was scot free. Let me tell you, we wish it was free from your grasp, Ridley. You know, old man, another old man who can't let go. Him and fucking James Cameron.
Yeah, they're both bad. The
new Terminator movie is going to be so shit.
Yeah. Terminator. My woke.
They haven't been good since Terminator 2, but Jesus Christ.
I still like 3.
You like Rise of the Machines?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you like it?
I like it because I like the action scenes in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the fact that it shows that John got all fucked up by being around time traveling shit, which would be realistic. If that shit happened to somebody, they would not act normal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I love
Rob.
how his mom's in a mental asylum and then she becomes quote unquote female badass character.
And then don't like later down the line, like the movies like totally contradict themselves.
Yeah, they do a bit because there's Terminator Guys 2, which is where Arnold comes back to fight other Arnold.
Yeah,
Give me
it's
your
fucking.
clothes. No, you don't give him your clothes.
What is that? Genesis?
Yes, that's Genesis where it's spelled weirdly.
Ugh.
I just like
Uh,
the homage and that it's like it's fucking its own timeline up.
and like the bad Terminator is a cop
Yeah,
because for
that's
reasons.
well in the second one it was because it was trying to do the authority
Right.
thing.
Right, but there's no reason for the only reason the Terminator is a cop in that movie is because
Jesse Smollett said so.
yeah, because hey, don't you remember Terminator 2? Don't you guys remember Terminator 2? Well, we've got it in this one as well.
I did like the fact of an idea of I'd say this for 3 as well, the female Terminator where it was something that tried to, be more stealthy or seduce and then is still
Yeah.
deadly.
Yeah. Which one is that?
That's in 3.
That's in 3, okay.
Yeah. That's why again,
isn't
like
there's the one with Christian Bale, isn't there?
there might be.
Where Terminator, can't remember what it's called. It takes place like during the war.
I think that's the 4th one actually.
Yeah.
Or that was the TV show too. I don't fucking
Did they do that on the TV show too?
They may have.
It's so hard because people were talking about Terminator movies. I had no idea were even out.
Yeah.
And
At
have
least,
been out.
like I said, 3 is pretty much where I stopped caring.
Salvation. Terminator Salvation.
Okay, so that's the 4th one I think. Or 5th.
And
Or
John
6th or
Connor.
7th or 8th or 9th or 10th.
I don't know if Christian Bale is John Connor in that
I think
one.
he is, yeah.
Christian Bale. Eye mole. Once you see that eye mole, you'll never not see it. It's always there.
Christian Bale was good in Equilibrium.
Yeah, he's really good in Equilibrium. He's not bad in The Machinist either.
Nope, I like The Machinist.
Yeah, The Machinist is really good.
He was also pretty great in American Psycho.
Oh, yeah. Well, American Psycho is just fucking fantastic. Do you know I like to dissect girls? Do you know I'm utterly insane? My favorite line in American Psycho is when they're pulling out their cards, their business cards.
Yeah, and he talks about like eggshell white over his fucking.
Yeah, but it's Justin through. The guy pulls out his card thing, and you can hear the shink from the case.
Yeah,
and Justin Theroux goes, "Is that a gram?" That's my favorite fucking line. Is that a gram? Well, you shut the fuck up. I'm trying to do drugs over here. American Psycho is a classic, also directed by a woman.
Yep.
So when I think it's Catherine Bigelow is her name.
Is she related to Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo?
Rob Schneider is
Catherine Bigelow.
I can't remember anything else she done. I think her career's. Oh, she did Zero Dark 30, which is a pretty good movie.
Is it a horror movie or is it a suspense?
No,
movie?
Zero Dark 30 is about how they got Osama bin Laden.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a like a biopic, I guess.
Oh, so it's no Obama fluff piece, all right.
Yeah, well, it's fucking really good though. The end when they're in the fucking house and they're going after Osama and it's real dark and like the guys are going through the house and they're whispering, they're just going Osama, and like people are like coming out to find they're just killing everybody. It's pretty sweet.
It sounds like some Hollywood jewelry, if you ask me.
Mary Harron directed American Psycho. Oh, it's Mary Harron, not Catherine Bigelow. I thought it was Catherine Bigelow, Rock.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Well, that just shows what I fucking know. Nothing. Just a fucking guy with a big mouth. Likes to talk shit.
Sounds like an everyday Italian to me.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Italians talking about shit they don't know nothing about. Catherine Bigelow made Near Dark. Thank
right.
you. Near Dark is a great film.
What's that about?
Near Dark. It's a vampire movie with
Oh yeah.
Bill
Oh
Paxton.
yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck.
And it's got like it's got a bunch of James Cameron people in it. It's got
Doesn't it have it has the guy who fucking
it's got
plays
Lance
Bishop?
Henriksen in it.
Yeah,
It's
Lance.
got Vasquez
Lance
in
is a
it.
good
The
dude.
chick
I
who
like
plays
Lance.
Yeah, Lance is very good. Bill Paxton, Judy Goldstein or whoever plays Vasquez.
Steen.
Yeah, she's also the stepmom in Terminator 2.
Okay.
Lance Hendrickson. It's got that little boy kid in it, and then it's got some guy. The main character in it, he was in Heroes. If anybody's seen that show, he played Nathan in Heroes. He could fly. That was his superpower.
Oh yeah, that fucking
Heroes is not bad. The first season of Heroes is really good when like Siler is like the bad guy and he's going around and he's like a serial killer and he's killing heroes. And the original like comic for Heroes is really good because like there's never supposed to be like a main character for too long. Everybody dies.
Oh, so it's Naked Lunch, so eventually the cockroaches will be fucking people.
Right, exactly. Adrian Pazdar.
I'm not a faggot.
Whatever his last name is. Catherine Bigelow also did Point Break, Rock. I did not know that. Point Break is a damn good movie. Before Gary Busey lost his mind.
Yeah, because Gary Busey's in that film.
Yeah. He's also in Predator 2, Gary Busey.
Mm-hmm. What drugs do you think he took to lose his mind that badly?
Oh, I think it was a car crash that did it to him.
Oh.
I think he got into a car crash and he was never the same after that. But he's probably on some drugs now for his brain.
Yeah.
Because every time I see him, he's with his handler, some woman. It's probably his wife, I think.
Some woman, you know.
And then Jake Busey is in the new Predator movie, and he basically plays his dad's son, I think, if I remember correctly.
So he's playing himself. Good job.
Motorcycle crash caused him to have a swollen brain.
Oh, okay. They can't unswole the brain?
Not Gary Busey's brain. It's too much. It's too much. He's too smart for all of us.
Big brain nibba.
He went the Randy Quaid route. And I don't think Randy Quaid had a car crash he could blame his fucking antics on.
Oh.
Randy Quaid is like the government is trying to kill us. And he's got his big fucking beard and shit.
Tell me something new, Randy.
It makes you have a stroke, yeah. Yeah, Randy Quaid is a crazy person. His Twitter is fun though. Yeah, so Gary Busey's swollen brain, which is a shame because he was a damn good actor. I liked Gary Busey a lot.
Now he's just there. He's just
there. I think he was on some like celebrity paranormal investigation show, and he was crazy on that. And everybody's like flipping out, he's trying to hug everybody and give them the Lord.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just fucking go to my YouTube homepage and I see Ghost is talking about rapper Nipsey Hussle shot dead, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg responsible.
I don't know about them being responsible, but I know Nipsey Hussle got shot.
And is dead, apparently.
I hadn't heard that name in forever, and all of a sudden everybody's acting like they've always been a fan of Nipsey Hussle.
I don't even know who the hell this dude is.
He's some rapper turned clothing guy. You know how they do.
Mm-hmm. As they do.
Yeah. I don't know why Dr. Dre's not like a fucking... Dr. Dre's kind of like a fake gangster.
Well, like his best friend, Eminem.
Yeah.
Marshall Mathers, sorry.
Bigelow also made The Hurt Locker and Strange Days. I don't remember Strange Days. I remember The Hurt Locker. I can't remember what Strange Days is about.
Is it that film like they're filming stuff that's the fucking like a 9mm camera and it's got aliens in it and shit?
Maybe. That could be any movie. That could be any movie from Blumhouse from 2010.
But Steven Spielberg helped support that one.
Oh, you're talking about eight, um, uh, Super 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a J.J. Abrams.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, Super 8 is kind of bad.
Jar Jar Abrams, I see.
Juju and his lens flare.
Yeah,
he's so bad. He is the destroyer of films. Him and
destroyer of franchises too.
I hate his mystery box TED talk. It's so bad. Everything. These mystery boxes, my mystery boxes, or you got to have your mystery boxes. They don't. The mystery box thing doesn't work if you don't know what the fuck is in them, JJ. You can't just drop your little shit everywhere and then it doesn't lead. That's what happened with Lost. They were just making it up as they went along.
Just like JJ's film career. He just kept making it up as he went along.
JJ is what happens when a Spielberg fanboy gets a job. He's fucking terrible. Look what he did to the Star Wars movies. If you think Ryan Johnson or whatever his faggot name is, if you think he ruined Star Wars, look at The Force Awakens and shit. It's just a ripoff.
I don't know. It's more playing the fact towards nostalgia things. The Last Jedi hurt me in ways that I can't describe.
Have you actually seen The Last Jedi?
Yes.
You paid money?
No.
Oh, okay. Then that makes it a little better.
A little. Not by much.
How does it feel to have JJ is proof they really do run Hollywood? You're damn right, Rock. How does it feel to have like your childhood memories just destroyed?
Well, let me tell you, I just I just didn't care enough. I just couldn't stop it. It just kept happening, and I finally know what a Me Too movement is.
Did you see the Han Solo movie?
No.
Did you not see it because of Last Jedi?
Yes.
Okay, because I've heard
I didn't want to even see it when I heard all the shit about it too.
I've heard the Han Solo movie is not as bad as Last Jedi, but it got a bad rap because everybody was pissed about The Last Jedi.
No, it's worse.
I mean, I haven't. The last Star Wars
they
film I
made
saw was
Lando Calrissian, a character known for being a straight talking jive ass motherfucker, gay for robots.
Yeah, he's a pansexual.
For robots.
And the robot wants to fuck him.
And the robot's a social justice warrior.
Yes, she is. What's her name? L33T?
Yes.
Leet?
Yes.
And she tries to she frees all the droids.
Yeah, and tries to make a droid uprising. And then gets murdered and shot. And then he cries about it.
How do you feel about Rey being able to fly the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo?
I think Ryan Johnson should off himself. In Minecraft. Oh, sorry. I meant Star Wars Galaxy Online.
Have you ever played Star Wars Galaxy Online?
I have not.
There was an incident in Star Wars, because it's not around anymore, I don't think.
No.
But there was an incident in Star Wars Galaxy Online where they got mad. All the people who played got mad at an update. So they made a plan that they would all jump into a server and crash the entire game. Right, so nobody could get on. As they started to jump in, the developers, the software people, they started dropping stormtroopers that would just one-shot kill everybody. So they were actually fighting the Empire, and the stormtroopers were actually hitting their marks and killing everybody. I heard Ryan Johnson described as some guy.
Yeah.
And they said they gave some guy the fucking Star Wars movie.
They did, because Ryan Johnson did nothing before this. He did fucking commercials.
The worst thing about Ryan Johnson, I think, is his treatment of the fans.
Yeah, he calls everybody a fan, an idiot, and everything else. He doesn't like them. He tells them to go fuck themselves. He says that they don't understand my vision. Yeah, go fuck yourself. No one cares about your vision. No one cares about you. You fucking egg-headed, bald piece of shit, ugly pedophile-looking motherfucker.
Are they ever gonna learn?
No. It's Disney.
I mean, the black guy, the black stormtrooper from
Finn.
Finn, yeah. John Boyega, like he even came out and he was trashing the fans and shit like that.
Yeah, they all do. They're all the same. They all trash everybody.
And then they wonder why nobody sees their movies. Why would you go see a movie for somebody who just trashed you before the movie? Just
yeah, exactly.
They don't care about you and shit like that.
Oh, by the way, they were gonna try to build up this whole thing with Rose, Tika, and Finn apparently, getting on, the mixing going on, but he's gay. They've already revealed that for the next movie. That
Finn is gay. That's funny because the Rose Tika kisses him.
Yeah, but he's gay. He turned gay after the chubby Asian chick kisses him.
Is it Tika or Tico?
It's Tika.
Rock
actually, no, it's Tico.
He said he wanted half the audience to come out hating that movie. Why the fuck would you even hire someone like that for Star Wars?
Exactly.
Why would you hire somebody to? It's like the Elvis documentary. Why would you fucking make a documentary where everybody in it just trashes the fucking dude?
Yeah.
It's like when we read Dread Central articles. Anya Stanley is not a fan of horror movies. She does nothing but trash them. Yeah. When she talks about them, you can tell she doesn't know what the movies are actually about. And she's just pretending to be a fan.
Yeah.
I don't know where Rian Johnson's career is going after this. His head is so firmly planted up Kathleen Kennedy's ass.
Mm-hmm. And Kathleen Kennedy's like, oh no, he'll go for the next film, except J.J. Abrams will be back, and he'll make things even worse.
Yeah, J.J. can't save you. J.J. is good at pulling in an audience because he knows hype, and he knows how to get people excited for something, and he knows how to give you fan service. Mm-hmm. But his fan service is lazy.
Yeah, it's real lazy.
It's very late. Like, was it The Force Awakens where like Glenn Close is in a TIE fighter?
Yeah, I think so.
And that movie was playing on my friend's television. I was just laughing.
The only film I'll actually say I liked. My buddy told me he watched the fucking Force Awakens 5 times. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he watched The Last Jedi like 3 times. Like, what?
Why?
I don't know. But the only movie that I would give a second watch to out of all that shit is Rogue One.
Rogue One?
Yes.
That's the one where they get the plans for the Death Star, right?
Yes, it's the prequel.
Yeah.
That's the only one I would watch. They have the voice of the robot is actually one of the veteran actors from Star Wars, too.
Yeah. And they have, and at the end, it like connects to the older movie, one of the first movies, right?
Yeah, it connects to 4, the one where they're on the ship and Princess Leia's going to get bored and all that.
Right. And then she gets the plans for the Death Star.
Actually, yeah, that's the what's it called again? I don't remember. Is it The Last Hope? Yeah, it's The Last Hope. Yeah, give me a minute. I gotta remember the fucking title.
It's Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back, and then The Jedi Returns.
It's the Jedi. Yeah, but that's not the first film. It's the Star Wars. I don't remember. Star Wars, the original film.
A New Hope.
A New Hope. That's right. Not The Last Hope. Even though that's one of
The Last Hope.
Well, that'd be actually a good name for a film, I think, if it's like that desperate.
Some of those things I'm almost like, which one has Darth Vader in it of the new ones? Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue's the only one that has Darth Vader in it.
Right, and he shows up and he's just whooping ass.
Yeah, he shows up in a small scene and whoops ass. There's also the scene where he sees somebody and he's literally choking the dude too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, they got James Earl Jones to voice and everything as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was dead.
No, James Earl Jones is still alive.
Rock says Ryan made Luke into a monster who wanted to kill his nephew for having darkness in him. Yeah. The same Luke who saw good in Darth Vader.
Yep.
I mean, there's that whole, they always play that interview scene with Mark Hamill talking about how he told Ryan that he disagrees fundamentally with what he did with Luke.
Yeah, and then he cucked.
Of course
he cucked in interviews.
He's got no, his only career now is the voice of Chucky. He doesn't have anything. Mark Hamill doesn't have anything, people. Vader is awesome in Rogue One. See, I haven't seen The Force Awakens. I haven't seen Rogue One. I haven't seen Last Jedi or Han Solo movie. The last Star Wars thing I watched was Episode 3.
Actually, there's a good fan film by someone that Disney tried to sue that was all about Darth Vader.
I think I remember that.
It's more recently, actually, that they did this. It was like maybe in 2015. Let me see. I gotta remember when this fucking thing was. We'll have to watch. I'll send that to you to watch. It's really good.
Do we agree that Rey is a Mary Sue?
Yes.
Because she's awesome with her Force powers, and she hasn't even been trained.
Yeah,
she can fly the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo.
Oh yeah, it's Vader Episode 1, Shards of the Past, the Star Wars theory fan film. It was 3 months ago, so it was this year.
Is it still playable?
I believe it is fully playable, but Disney was trying to sue him, and then they fucking backed off because a lot of people were like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, because they had already pissed off the fan base.
Yeah, and it's better made than all the fucking movies they made besides Rogue One, because I have to give it to them. They could do that thing with Peter Cushing. Yeah. And I love Peter Cushing, so it's
yeah, well, he's great. But when they do things like that, it always feels like a desecration of a corpse.
Kind of, but I mean, it wasn't done disrespectfully, I don't think.
No, it's not done disrespectfully. He is, I mean, it's Grand Moff Tarkin.
It's basically just a guy. The guy who's doing it is not voicing Peter Cushing either. It's Peter Cushing's actual voice too.
They got his son, I think.
To be the body double. Yeah. And the whole thing, though, but it was actually lines they had not used from the original movie.
Speaking of things that hadn't been used, you know what I found out about the soundtrack for the score for Hateful Eight?
No, what?
Is actually unused score from The Thing.
Is it?
Yeah. It's unused score that you don't hear in The Thing, because I think The Thing is one of the John Carpenter movies where he didn't have a lot to do with the score himself. And a lot of that unused stuff Quentin Tarantino took and he used it in Hateful Eight.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. A recent fact that is useless that I came across.
Hey, baby, you want to get laid tonight? Well, I know this fact about Hateful Eight since I know you're a big Quentin Tarantino fan.
Hey, baby, I know you're a big Quentin Tarantino fan, right? Well, let me tell you something about that movie. He's got a new movie coming out, too. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is probably going to be dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Quentin Tarantino fan. I know a lot of people really like him, but I'm just not into his stuff. There's maybe like a movie or two that I really like that he did.
Was Kill Bill one of them?
No, I don't like Kill Bill. I know a lot of people do like the Kill Bill movies, but
well, okay, which films then?
I'd have to see a list.
Well, I could just name you my favorite Kill Bill films.
Go ahead, name your favorite Quentin Tarantino films. Maybe
Reservoir Dogs is my favorite Tarantino.
Reservoir Dogs is not bad.
Yeah. And another one would have to be. It's a hard choice because there's a lot of his movies that are just kind of, They're not bad, but I mean, let's see. I'll say fine, From Dusk Till Dawn, since he's in it with. He made it with Robert Rodriguez.
He wrote it.
Yep.
Django Unchained isn't bad.
It's not, but I now looking back on it, the statement is trying to make him like, ooh.
Yeah. I do like Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown's definitely not bad.
I mean, Pulp Fiction's all right. It's got good dialogue.
The thing I don't like about Pulp Fiction is Bruce Willis. I'm not a Bruce Willis fan.
But why not?
Because he always looks like he's smiling, and he looks like a live action Homer Simpson.
I love him for that, though.
I'm just not into Bruce Willis.
But he's one of the few conservatives in Hollywood.
I know. I know, but
You saw what he did. You saw what he's done to his hair. What he did. You saw him go on fucking Jimmy Kimmel's show and just spit in his face by having what he had on.
I did not see that actually.
I'll have to find that for you then. He's got his whole hairdo. He actually has the whole thing bleach blonde under a MAGA hat.
Wow.
Yeah, on Jimmy Kimmel's show.
Ennio Morricone, some Italian, obviously. The same guy who did the music for the Dollars trilogy did The Thing.
Oh yeah, okay, I get you. They did that soundtrack? I had no idea. That's neat.
Which is probably why it's one of the better soundtracks, because John Carpenter has nothing to do with it, really.
Yeah.
I know he's got a big music career with his son, and a lot of his music is okay. It's not. I mean, he really got into like the synthwave kind of stuff.
Oh, it was on Jimmy Fallon's show. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, this was great. I forgot all about that he did this.
Send it to me in DM. I'll watch it. Natural Born Killers and True Romance are Tarantino's best, and he only wrote them. I really like True Romance. True Romance is definitely good. Oh, you must have thought this was White Boy Day. Gary Oldman's really good in that movie. And what is it? Is it Patricia Arquette? James Gandolfini beats the shit out of her in that movie. He kicks her fucking ass. Yeah, I like True Romance. Must have thought this was White Boy Day.
Yeah, I'm just getting to it.
Would you consider Pulp Fiction to be like an anthology?
It kind of is. It's more.
I know it's based on like the pulp comics.
Kinda. It's more just based on like pulp stories in general. One second, I gotta copy this link properly.
Natural Born Killers is Natural Born Killers. I kind of have like a love-hate relationship with. I like it, but that girl, I don't like the girl in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will know her. Rock will know her name. Fuck, what is her name? She's always just fucking stupid in everything she does. She's always annoying as fuck.
But I do love Rodney Dangerfield in Natural Born Killers.
Is he in that movie?
I believe so. I think he's the dad. He's the dad in the scene.
Okay.
One second, well, I gotta find this now and send this to you. Rodney Dangerfield.
Juliette Lewis, is that her name?
I believe so. I love Mallory, Natural Born Killers, 1994. Natural Born Killers, dinner scene. Yeah, Natural Born Killers is a good film, too. I don't know why I didn't mention that. That's technically a Tarantino film. It's an abusive family relationship, more than turned into a fucking sitcom. There we go. And Rodney Dangerfield's great in that.
Send him to me. I'll watch him when we're done here. Yes. Kill the fucking Indian, says Rock. And yes, Juliette Lewis. I just don't. She's always a dumb bitch. She's in a movie called California with, I think, David Duchovny and Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt plays like a serial killer.
Hey, girl.
Quentin Tarantino wrote Dusk Till Dawn, which is an alright movie.
Yeah.
The thing I like best about Dusk Till Dawn is the fortify and make your weapons part.
I like the take on vampires.
Yeah, that's definitely a good take too.
Like they're snaky and creepy looking.
Yeah, they're very Aztec.
Yep.
Because that whole thing is like
maybe because they're close to the border of Mexico.
Yeah. I think the best part of that movie is the speech that Cheech gives about pussy. Pussy, pussy, pussy. We got it, pussy. We got hot pussy, cold pussy, dead pussy, live pussy. Yeah, California with a K, Rock. That was back before David Duchovny was open about his sex addiction.
I still like David Duchovny.
Dusk Till Dawn TV show is pretty good.
I haven't seen it.
I think I only saw the first episode and I kind of fell out of it. I think David Duchovny's also kind of a conservative, isn't he?
Something. I think he may be a little more libertarian, but yeah, I like him.
He graduated from like Harvard and Yale.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's supposed to be a pretty smart dude.
Oh, okay. I'll buy it.
He's no James Woods, but
I mean, who can be James?
I mean, James Woods is just naturally high IQ. He's just born that way. It gets really good in the second half of season 1. Yeah, see, my thing with shows is I always watch like 3 episodes, and if you haven't caught my attention by 3 episodes, I usually kind of dip out.
Also, you're like Esau with 3 words, where if you're
what does he do?
He doesn't pay attention after you say 3 words.
Oh my god, what is he? Like what he's got going on in his brain is so fucking more important than what you're talking about. Every stream we've done is more important than anything Esau has said. If I get a chance, I'll give it another shot, Rock, and check it out. Do they follow the brothers in that show, Rock?
I think they may have in between parts of it, but it's more also about the bar too.
Okay. Is Danny Trejo in it?
I believe he is, yeah. I think he's a reoccurring character.
Yeah, I can't do a
reoccurring character in quotations. Because he's just playing himself.
He's in like Dusk Till Dawn 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah, I'm not watching those films.
I think Dusk Till Dawn 3 is about bank robbers. I can't remember what Dusk Till Dawn 2 is about.
Bank robbers.
Probably. On that Texas-Mexico border.
You know, it's just right there. Right there. Right
and that's the thing about like Dusk Till Dawn. I do like that sort of I
like the fact that Cheech is in it 3 times. It's 3 different characters.
Yeah, 3 different people. But I do like the end of Dusk Till Dawn where they pan back and they show you that it's like a pyramid. It's like a Mayan Aztec pyramid. And it's got all those trucks that they've just piled up behind the pyramid.
That would be an interesting idea for a horror host too, like a Mesoamerican styled.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a monster.
A sexy Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Selma Hayek. She's hot. She's a fucking bleeding heart, but she's pretty cute. 3 is a prequel about Satanica Pandemonium.
Yeah, that's the chick that's, I believe that is Selma Hayek.
Oh, it's a prequel. So number two must be about the bank robbers then.
I see. I guess. I have no idea. I never watched it.
Rock would know. Rock knows more than us. He should be hosting this show.
He's Canadian, so he doesn't get those rights. We don't need British people making documentaries. We don't need Canadians hosting horror shows.
The show goes deep into the mythology. See, I like when shows do that. I like when they get deep into the aspects of everything and the lore and all the myth and stuff like that.
One day we will annex Alberta, Canada. You're welcome.
You can be the 51st state. Well, we've been going for almost 3 hours. What do you think?
I think we call it a 3.
Call it at 3. We'll give it 8. We'll give it 8 more minutes.
Yeah, we'll call it 12 my time.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, it's your time too because you're in Ohio.
Yeah, we're Eastern.
Yeah. I thought Ohio was supposed to be the Midwest.
Please, we have oil. He's bargaining now.
Yeah, I know. They have petroleum too.
We'll take it all.
Everything.
We'll take it all. Thank you. I mean, we're already like #1 oil producer already.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Donald.
Yep. Oh, don't you mean thank you, Obama? It was his plan all along.
Yeah, it's his plan that took so long that it took Donald Trump's fucking term to fucking get everything done.
Yep. We're selling more oil than we have been for a very long time, but the prices are still bad because we're basically not giving it to ourselves.
Yeah. Have we missed any horror anthologies? Do you think we missed any? I mean, I named some off. You named some off. I think we're pretty good on that.
Yeah, I can't think of too many others that we haven't talked about. Because we did mention Creepshow 2, and Creepshow 3,
of course, we've talked about Creepshow a lot.
Yeah, and we don't need to give Stephen King any more airtime than he already has.
I mean,
Stay in 57, Stephen. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know. I didn't check his Twitter after Trump was exonerated on the Russian collusion shit.
I'm bet he lost his fucking mind.
I'm sure he doesn't believe it like everybody else does.
Mueller's now working for the Russians.
Yeah, Mueller was everybody's fucking favorite person, and now he's a corrupt swamp creature. Okay.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been happening in the first place. We all know what the fuck was going on. But yeah, did we miss any horror hosts? I think, like we said, the horror host thing is really gone to YouTube now.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, the only horror host I know that still actively does it that's quote on this. I mean, there are others probably too, but one of the biggest ones is still Joe Bob from the '80s, and he still does it.
Yeah, and he's working with Shudder now.
Mm.
And like they have, I don't know if it's
It's usually like an annual thing, kind of.
Yeah, I think he does it a couple times a year, maybe. He's getting old, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody gets old.
Yeah, not me. I'm forever a vampire at 32.
What an age to pick for a vampire, 32.
32 with gray hair.
And black lungs.
What
a shitty vampire choice that was.
Awful. It's so awful.
I think you choose a better age. I waited for the longest time to become a vampire. I was waiting for my body to die because I wanted to be a zombie because I don't want that vampire life.
Just in a perpetual state of emphysema.
I just inhaled all cancer. The asbestos.
Yeah.
I will say this too. To anybody that actually ever buys a gas mask, like if you buy a Russian gas mask or any kind of gas mask, make sure the filter does not say 1970 on it.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Because that is asbestos.
Yep.
Get a new modern coal filter. That's what you actually need.
Replace the filter with a bong.
The weed will keep you safe.
I used to have a bong gas mask.
Of course you did.
Used to put that thing on and then smoke, and then when you took it off, just your entire head was covered in weed smoke.
Yeah, well, it's real effective.
Yeah.
We didn't in, not out.
We didn't use it for very long.
I imagine not. No.
Yeah, it's a waste of weed. But when you're young,
I was just thinking about another horror film. That's that one with the living evil weed bong or whatever the fuck that was.
Oh, Evil Bong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evil Bong. That goes with a Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah. Wasn't Cheech and Chong both in that movie too?
They could. I know Gary Busey plays the Ginger Dead Man. He does the voice of the Ginger Dead Man, and then I think I don't know if Cheech is in it, but I'm pretty sure Chong is in Evil Bong.
Yeah.
Or he's in one of them. I don't know how many he's in.
Who knows?
We used a fish tank. That's pretty good. In Prometheus, one of the guys turns his suit into a fucking bong.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know, because he's fucking dumb. After he takes a hit, a couple minutes later, he gets fucking murdered.
Yeah, isn't the proto-alien the thing in fucking that? It's not really a full alien. It's
no, the proto-alien is in Alien Covenant.
Oh, was it? I thought it wasn't.
It's the proto-alien and the neomorph is what they're called.
In Covenant?
Yeah, and in Prometheus you get the trilobite, which is like a squid, and then that creates the deacon.
And what the hell's the deacon?
The deacon is it looks like a xenomorph or a protomorph or a neomorph, but it's got a deacon hat. Its head looks more like a deacon.
So it's religious?
Oh, they're all religious, yeah. Because in Prometheus there is a mural of a xenomorph, which is something that people bring up a lot in Prometheus. But there's a mural on the wall that they find of a xenomorph in a crucifixion pose. So the whole thing is religious. Everything about Ridley Scott's Alien is religion.
Why?
Because he's really into that shit, I guess. Everything he wants.
Is he Catholic?
No, he's an atheist.
What the fuck's the point?
Rock, have you ever made a gravity bong? We used to make gravity bongs.
All right, there's some degeneracy going on here.
We used to make gravity bongs out of like the big.
I do not consent to this.
The big water cooler things. We used to make those.
Nothing good is coming.
You have to
from
like
your mouth
stand
right
on
now.
like a.
Nothing good
You
is
have to
coming
stand
out
on
of
a
your
ladder
mouth.
and jump down.
What is wrong with you? Red Dwarf.
But Ridley Scott is an atheist, so I don't know why all the religious themes are in there. Maybe he took, because I know Giger has a lot of religious themes.
Well, yeah, but Giger has a point for it. He's not an atheist.
Right, I understand that, but you know how Ridley Scott is. He likes to.
I'm gonna exploit Giger because he's dead, and steal all his shit.
Yeah, because in Covenant they use a lot of his. They use some of his art too.
Yeah, his art, designs, and everything else. Because they just want to rip him off because he's dead.
And that's what they do with Shaw. Like the one picture of the woman with like the big, like her head, the sides of her head are like spread out. And
yeah,
like they do that with Shaw.
That art is in fucking Darkseid 2, which was a game unofficially made with Giger's support.
Remember the good old days when Alien was just a penis metaphor?
Yeah, that's what it was. It's his whole thing. His whole thing is about death and sex.
Yep.
Sounds like a typical Swiss man.
But
those knights, they knew how to live, let me tell you. They knew all about the banking system. They knew about neutrality. They knew about sex with demons.
But for Ridley Scott, when Ridley Scott gets his hands on it, it becomes a religious metaphor about the Jews killing Jesus. And
why does he care?
The whole
it just seems weird that he would, of all people, care. That's what I'm calling the bullshit.
I don't know. I mean, if you're going to be an atheist, why make religious films? I don't know.
True.
I know he's got religious. I think Blade Runner has some religious aspects to it as well.
Possibly. But we are going to land this fucking plane.
We're going to land it. Thanks, everybody, for coming out and listening to us drone on about horror and movies in general. Me and Gene like to talk about these things.
Yeah, we do.
And we like to talk about them with you. Your input is important to us. Jews do have concentrated molecular acid for blood, says Rock.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
That's why 5% of mine is acidic.
And then when you kill them, they land and they recoagulate into a victim. Into a victim. 6 gorillion if you count all the pieces.
Yeah.
But thanks everybody for coming out. I appreciate it. Gene, you got anything you want to say to these people?
I thank you for everybody coming out. I do appreciate it. I have really been enjoying being a part of Heretic Channel, and continuing to do all this is really fun. I love horror, and we will continue doing more on Wednesday, where we talk about horror video games. As our
horror video game Wednesday, mainly Alien Isolation.
You can do mainly Alien Isolation. I've got a few myself.
Okay, that works too. I think I've got a couple other ones too that I definitely want to talk about.
I gotta
Open
talk
Borders
about
for LP246. That's right. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Peace.